Yes, what's up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara, and I am Sharif. And we got everybody coming on over from the other chat, but I just got to close this window and open up the other one. What's up? Yes, there we go. We got Darwin. We got Big Kyle Burdett. We got Market Sniper and Callum Mitchell Miller and Mahat, as well as Mateus Lane and Draco. Day Trader Cut joining us. Paul Goodson in the house. Kanye East joining us as well. Learning the game. Bob Dubb, Cairo, and A Proper Paradox. Fiddleback, Alex, Olivia, Ponzi, Fonzie, what's up to Ponzi, Fonzie, baby? I see you, Adam DeLuce, what's up to you, my man? Killer Cam, Elon, as well as the Piper. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you this fabulous GameStop-ish Monday?
It's not bad. Hopefully we'll have GameStop for you. Supposed to be at 12:30 today. We've got the link. We're locked. We're loaded. Hopefully they'll be able to cross their T's and dot their I's electronically today, but we'll have to see exactly what happens there. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm in Nvidia short. I know, shocker. I am shorting Nvidia. But no, basically and to be clear, I'm very cognizant of the potential change in tides, to use a Sharifism I'm seeing here. But no, I initially got short, and I have taken profit on this because we did have this little, I don't want to say bear flag, but like kind of, because we had this move down here, then we had this little chop and turn, we were rejecting the 9 EMA. I immediately said the plan is going to be what I've been trying to do over the specifically last week, which is just, and a little bit the week before, which is just kind of getting in, starting a position, then scraping in and out at levels I like, and then being cognizant of a potential breakup or breakdown that we can get from there. We're below the 9 EMA. If we break below 138.90s, I'm out. The closest we've gotten is 130.85s, and then we run away like a scared deer. I'm not trying to add to this unless I continue to see decisively lower highs. The 130.70 area is kind of interesting to me. Not sure if I'll get that. I have no reason to leave yet. We're not at 130.90s. Right now, we're going to be, as Sharif will sometimes say, packing our patience, maybe in a Samsonite bag, and seeing what unfolds. Of course, I'm also looking at GameStop. Pretty spicy look here. I might have to secure some shorts. But right now, we're just trying to secure the bag in Nvidia. How are you doing?
Good luck with that. Here's the look. So Neil brought this to you guys earlier. Polestar was making a big move there, topping out at 89 pennies, up 21 2/3% on the day, on the back that they're going to expand into 7 new markets by 2025. He was looking for those markets. I've got them for you now. It is France, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Poland, Thailand, and Brazil by 2025. So looking to expand. Polestar, as we've said to you many times on this show, very, very prominent in Toronto. You see them a lot, especially from where I live. And they're quite reasonably priced relative to other electric vehicles. So we'll see if this one can reclaim that $1 area that it gave back a little while ago. Polestar obviously has their association with Volvo, the big Swedish car maker there, the legacy automaker out of Sweden. So 22% to the good. I was looking for that dollar touch. Not quite yet, though. 89 pennies high. This one, I should mention to you guys, has a short float of about 5.8%. That's about 2 weeks old, give or take, right? So it could be a little bit higher or lower, but definitely not a negligible percentage of the float there shorted. So PSNY, sub $1, but keep your eye on this one. All right. Before we get to the lesson, I'm just going to show the small cap gappers that I've got my eye on today. First and foremost, obviously, Polestar, already prefaced that. We've got GameStop and AMC on the left, but these two were quite tradable today. TRNR and SCNI both look good. Now, I got to tell you, even though TRNR is below the volume weighted average price, I'm still very interested in getting long at TRNR between that $6 to that $5.50 area. This prominent pre-market high, I'm expecting to act as a level of support if we were to make it down. We're trying to break down below 6. This candle took us all the way down to 611. So we'll see if this one does the old resistance flip to support kind of look that we've been seeing a lot on some of these stocks lately. So TRNR, let's keep an eye on that. But we also have an important lesson today. So we're going to talk about level 2. Now, guys, I got to preface this. This is not an introductory into level 2. Standardized or basic rudimentary knowledge of time and sales, level 2, market depth, the book, whatever you want to call it, is required for this lesson. So Yeah, we'll try to give you some basic concepts as we go, but if some stuff flies over your head, just go ahead and use that Google search and try to catch up. So, welcome back, traders. Let's delve deeper into the level 2 order book, dissecting its intricacies to inform our small cap news-driven intraday plays. We'll move beyond the buy and sell sides, focusing on these more advanced order types and interpretations. Let's get right to it. So, what kind of orders show up on the order book right away? So we have to be able to dissect these first. So first and foremost, the most basic of the limit of the type of orders is your limit order. These bread and butter orders specify a price at which a trader is willing to buy and sell. The order book shows the depth or the volume at each price level. So just by way of example, this is the order book on Polestar, and you'll see probably this is not a good idea because it's a sub $1 name. There you go, Tesla. You'll see 186.20 and all the different levels and what the kind of size you have beside them is. Now, the size I have here in lots, not actually share size, okay? So you can multiply those by 100. So your limit orders are on there, but your stop orders are on there as well. These only come into play when the price reaches a certain level. So your stop price. So there can be two different types of stop orders. There's stop loss orders that are sell orders, and they're basically designed to get you out of the position. But there's also stop market orders as well, right? Once the stop price is triggered, these become market orders executed at the best available price. Those are also on there as well. The one that's the most trickiest is what we call a hidden seller, a hidden buyer, or an iceberg. These only show a portion of the total order size, masking larger buying or selling interest. Look for sudden jumps in volume after an iceberg orders are partially filled, hinting at a larger order behind the scenes. We've talked about this umpteen amount of times on the show. When you have a price level that you've reached, whether on the way up or on the way down, and there isn't that much size on the order book to justify why the price is not moving up or moving down, typically what that is an iceberg order. And then it's incumbent upon you to then look at the tape. You need to start looking over here to see what is printing. Is it printing at the 05s that can't move up, and you keep getting 05 prints, even though the size says only 2 or 3 or 1? That's your hint that there's a hidden buyer, a hidden seller on the ask, what we call an iceberg, and that's kind of what you need to know a little bit there, okay? So, analyzing the order book dynamics. This is interesting here. So, order book movement. Watch how the order book changes. Are bids actively moving up the price ladder? Are they chasing the offer? Or is there a stack of sell orders just above the current price, creating a potential selling pressure zone? You need to be apprised with both sides of the order book and see exactly what both sides are doing, especially movement and especially size moving up with you if you're long, or size moving down with you if you're short. You need to apprise yourself of all that. Order cancellations as well, quite bamboozling. Cancellations can be just as informative as active orders. For example, if a large buy order is pulled, all of a sudden you see 1,000 lots or 100 lots on the ask at a certain price, and then you move up to that price and all of a sudden that price is gone. Well, it could be signaling waning buying interest or waning selling interest, whatever the situation could be. Conversely, multiple ask cancellations at a resistance level might suggest sellers are waiting, for a better price to offload. So another thing you need to be apprised of there. So many different nuances. And here is basically an example of level 2 order books. And we all have this. Well, we should have this if you're day trading. You should be using level 2. And then you can see here all the different gateways. Essentially, we're not going to talk about gateways today, but what you need to understand in a very rudimentary way is a gateway is just a street to get you to the exchange. Multiple different streets from Wellesley and Yonge will get you to the Toronto Stock Exchange, wherever the hell it is. Okay? Advanced order book patterns. Now, this is actually quite interesting here. So this was actually new to me, and I actually learned this putting together the lesson. There's something called spooning, and Big Kyle, calm down over there. I see you coming with the jokes. So spooning. This occurs when buy orders are placed just below the current ask price, and sell orders are placed just above the current bid price. It's suggesting a tight trading and possible consolidation before the breakout. This is actually really interesting because I've seen this one on, very heavily thick traded names where you have huge amounts of size stacked above and below, above the ask and below the bid, and you're kind of tight within this range. You move up a tick, you move down a tick. When you do get a breakout from those levels, often it is quite violent. So that is what I would say to look for if you're looking for maybe a very thickly traded name. I know the boys on the floor look at this for their buyouts. I know you were going to snick. All right, order book vacuum. All right. When there is a significant absence of orders at a particular price level, it can indicate to you potential buying or selling zones. Here's what I mean, right? For example, a vacuum below support might indicate buying interest, waiting to fill that gap. So this is actually super interesting here. I've never actually noticed this in real life, but because usually we see each one of these 1 penny apart. So you're not able to kind of discern the difference between the buyer, say, at 185.25 and say at 185.15. Sometimes if you see huge size at 25 and then another huge size at 15, that 10 penny spread right there, that's basically, buyers, it's kind of like a void, a vacuum in the buying zones, right? There's a lot of exuberance at 25, but then you lack all exuberance until you get to 15. So you need to be apprised of that as well. Move on to this. And interpreting the order book in context. This is actually super interesting. So this is specific for small cap gappers. What I'd say to you, if you're going to use level 2 with good success for these small cap gappers, make sure you're engaging in some pre-market analysis of the book. And what you're looking for here before the market opens, you're looking for stocks that are gapping up on news, and you want high bid volume at the ask price. That can signal to you strong buying pressure at the open. If the ask gets eaten up at every little attempt, every incremental move, and the size keeps getting eaten up there, you can kind of foreshadow what the open might look like. And you also want to keep an eye on the book after that news catalyst has already hit and the market has had an opportunity to digest it. Are they still interested in it? So after the news breaks, see how the order book reacts. Does the buying volume dry up after the initial surge, or is there a sustained buying pressure through the levels subsequent to the news release? So you want to keep them in mind. Are the algos just reacting to that news piece that's being released, and then we're going to come back down once human traders get involved? Or is this a sustainable move, a sustainable headline that can take us throughout the day? So you need to keep your eye on that. And basically all I would say is level 2 analysis, guys, as a final thought here, is an art. It's not an exact science, as with most technical analysis. By understanding these advanced concepts and interpreting them in context with news catalysts as well as market conditions, you can elevate your ability to spot opportunities and make informed trading decisions. Adair?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif, for going over that. As someone who loves the level 2 in book reading, I think this is a really helpful lesson. And I like as well that it's specific to the small cap gappers, right? Because these ones I find, especially as myself, as someone who doesn't trade them and finds them a little bit, I think any life hack you can give yourself, any amount of edge you can give to help understand them better is, of course, a plus. So I want to shout that out. Thank you very much, Sharif, for that. You know what I will not be thanking, though, is Tesla. Yes, I know my ongoing battle with the Cybertruck has begun early this week. No, all jokes aside, though, I got involved here. Happy with how this trade was managed, just a little bit meh at it in general. So I got involved 185, just shy of 185, around 184.90s, because I liked that we had a bit of a bounce here off the 90 MA and also that previous little resistance area, right? I thought, this looks great. Got long, was going to risk into 184.70s, so basically the bottom of that candle at the time. We dropped below 184.70s. I dropped out of the Cybertruck. However, if we keep seeing this inability to get back to 185, will I go short? Heck yeah. Yes, I will. I always find, I think, it's interesting because I know I'm short biased. I'm cognizant of the fact that sometimes the short ideas aren't going to work, but I find too, it's I think my brain is better able to find short opportunities than longs. So sometimes when I try to go long, it's just, it's not always, I feel like the cards don't align as well, or the stars, whatever analogy you want to use. So we're going to have to wait and see on that. Nvidia, though, happy with this short, just took it again off that 130, 140 rejection after the previous bottom.
We took out 20,000. So
oh my gosh.
we were on the new contract, guys. So I just want to make that clear that we're now charting off the September 20th, 24 contract because the June contract expires this Friday. So today is the first day that the new contract did more volume than the older contract. So here it is. This is the new contract. So we did break 20,000, even though we broke it in the pre-market, even ever so briefly, a bit of a double top there on the NQ. September contract, 20,000 was breached right at the beginning of the show over here. So I just want to mention that it's a key area of technical resistance. So keep your eye on this level over here. We're not clearing it with the aggressive distance. So 20,000 just got breached. That's all I want to mention there.
Yeah, no worries. That was, I have nothing else right now, though I am hopping into that Cybertruck on the downside. Yeah, Tesla, you see me, you hear me, let's go. The plan for this, I saw another 185 rejection. That was the confluence, the confidence, whatever word you want to insert there that I needed, the confidence maybe. So we're getting involved here. Just shy of 185 is basically the same area, I think, on the dot that I entered the short. If we break above this little wick here, actually, I guess we wicked there twice, at 185.27, that's where I'm going to have to cut the cord. I want to start piecing this out at 70s, so let's get going with that. I have no idea if this will work out, but the thing with trades is you never know if they're going to work out. You have to take it as Sharif always says on the balance of the evidence. Right now, the balance of the evidence and just my overall general principles with trading, what I look for is telling me, Adara, try this Tesla short. Tesla, meanwhile, is telling me, yeah, Adara, I'm going to probably not be a good time here. So good times. Thank you, Tesla. We got to the area I was going to leave, and then it rejected. So let's watch and see what the Cybertruck does. What are you looking at right now?
I'm going to pull up Meta because Meta is having trouble with the 50 period on the 5. So this is interesting to me. Even though it did wick quite aggressively into that 501.25, it's stair-stepping up and finding resistance at the 50. Found resistance at the 50 on the IB high. It found resistance at the 50 at 10:30, and it's finding resistance right now. But what I'm concerned with Meta is it's putting in higher lows with that flat top at generally 501.5, generally in that area. Somebody was asking me, pass overdose, is Meta 500 something big? Well, it was a couple of times. One, when it was sub 500 and broke 500 prior to earnings, and I'll show you what I mean by that on the daily. So you can see 500 is around right here. And so when we were breaking, sorry for all these, for all the pivot points there, just kind of look at where the colors are. That's the price essentially. We got above into that 530, and then this is the earnings day. You can see that big red candle. We broke down into 400, held 400, and we were below 500 for quite some time, using it as resistance. Now we're above it, so I would say likely to use it as support, but right now, I want to wait for a rejection because right now it's kind of just dancing with this level. But the 50 period on the 5 looks to me to be like an interesting area here on META. If I was to get in here at like 500 and 2/3, 500 and a fifth, I definitely have to put my stop almost $1 from where you get in because that's the local high there. I'd have to put it at 501 1/3. So yeah, let me know if you take it long or short. Right now I see resistance, but I also see the other side of that, which is higher lows. So that's the look there. Microsoft just printed new all-time highs, like all-time highs in its history. $444.82. It just printed right now. Definitely a bullish looking double bottom where the right side of the double bottom is higher than the left, showing buyer exuberance. The neckline break at 443.5 confirms that, and it's heading a little bit higher. Great look right now on MSFT. It is at day's highs when nothing else is at day's highs. So Softy getting the upgrade today from Dan the Man, not Emmons, but Dan the Man Ives over there at Wedbush, liking this one. And I talked about it on the morning show anyway. I'm not going to repeat it now, but he is obviously a rock star at the moment. And he's being... well, he's been right about a lot of stuff, put it that way, lately. So we'll keep an eye on MSFT. Apple coming into off the high at 217 1/3, coming down into 216 1/4. I would submit to you there's support here, owing to the 10 period on the 5, as well as this price action top over here, Adair.
Did you see Dan Ives' outfit today on CNBC?
I didn't,
It's like,
no.
okay.
I gotta pull it
Dan
up.
Ives has great outfits. He also is a great Twitter follow. I've always said this because he posts really amusing, entertaining stock stuff. If you like stock Twitter, which is I've mentioned repeatedly on the show and just in my life is a really fun world.
That's fun.
But basically, Dan Ives wore like a bright pink blazer over a pink striped shirt. I love it. I want to own that outfit, so I want to shout out. Yeah, Dan Ives, Ramin is very like fashion confident, and I love it. So shout out to Dan Ives. Also, though, yeah, I mean he loves Microsoft. I know he said at one point one of the reports belonged to the Louvre, so clearly he still thinks that, raising their price target there to 550. So yeah, that Microsoft chart's a very nice look as well. But basically, you know what else could be an interesting look is IWM. I initially was looking, let's see what we do at VWAP, and IWM's like, I'm gonna do nothing at VWAP, Adar. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm like, okay, IWM. I've written some levels on I don't have a sticky note. I have a Google document called tickers to look at. And as you can see here, I wrote 198.50 and 198.20 on that document for IWM. This is the type of look I love when we just keep seeing a rejection of a level. It's gonna be that 198.50, 198.45-esque. The other level I liked was 198.20, which was kind of the base of that baby range we had earlier, then formed as an area of resistance. So if we can continue to fail that 198, 198.20 area, I will go short, but I want to be cautious before I do so. Also, I had another Tesla trade that I want to chit chat about here. So I was seeing a 1320 Wolf second. We change the thumbs up to a thumbs down if Adara keeps shorting Nvidia. Honestly, if Nvidia keeps failing 130, 140, I have to say I probably will continue to take short scalps, but I did miss the most recent one. But yeah, I just want to shout that out because got a kick out of that. I know Nvidia has been pretty strong, but was at least partially profitable in both trades, although I am down in the name right now because of that first trade. But this Tesla, though, really happy with what happened here. Initially got the long, didn't work out there. Got the short, took out half at 184.70. The plan was continue to add if we got back to 185. We didn't at the time I was in it. I noticed that we got to 184.50s. Then I was like, the book is kind of slowing down here. We're going to move back to the upside. Got out at 184.56. I would have stayed as long as 184, but I wasn't getting that on the book, so I had to say adieu. Anurag wants to look at SoFi here. So let's take a look at SoFi, short for flat bottom break. I don't really see a flat bottom break on SoFi, at least on the intraday. I'm going to be honest with you. I just kind of see a continued downtrend. That being said, we are at that level here at, what is this, 637.5, but it looks like we might want to bounce. I'd be cognizant. It would be kind of hard to find a good entry point here. Maybe these 9 EMA bounces. That's kind of the best level I can see on this. But yeah, I have to say, I'm not really seeing a huge flat bottom break on this. The daily chart, also the same kind of thing here, because you mentioned the daily continued downtrend. That being said, the level I find interesting on the daily is going to be 673. We had a bottom here, not once, but twice. I would say the flat bottom break was probably on the daily chart there, but I think we're 2 daily candles removed from that now. So yeah, 673, 674 could be interesting for SOFI.
All right, guys, Dell's having another hell of a day today. DELL up almost 6%. 6%, that's not nothing. On the back of an upgrade, there's no catalyst for this other than this upgrade. Morgan Stanley analyst Eric Woodring maintains Dell Technologies with an overweight rating and maintains the 155 price target. We have a high a day of 143.37. Definitely holding up off that 10. Look at the respect Dell has had on the 10 with the 10 essentially since breaking above it over here at 10:53 a.m. Shout out to Elon in the chat. I saw you there talking about Dell and you could not be more accurate. And you've been talking about Dell for a while, Elon. It's not the first day that I've seen you talk about Dell. Alas, Dell did have a bit of a tough earnings report. Look, it wasn't bad. It was just there was so much pent up, I guess, exuberance, expectations, whatever that it ended up selling. But most notably, this is what I want to point out. I don't know if Neil had eyes on this either because I know Neil's been looking at Dell lately. But Dell absolutely held the 50 on the daily on that retracement. That is very bullish for me. And then you kind of get that rounded bottom. Sorry for all the Dell tickers there. There you go. See how we put that rounded bottom when we held the 50? We didn't hold the 50 strictly, but we held it close enough. We hold that 50 and now we're rounding and now we're coming right back up again, looking to test that 150. Dell, this looks like an interesting area for an entry here on DL for a swing. Not financial advice, not recommendations, just telling you what I see. And this bottom end over here at that general 130 area also coincided with a previous area of technical resistance. I'm talking about this earnings win crest over here that topped out at about $1.30. I'm talking about this crest over here that only got to 135. So general area hold here for DELL looks awfully good for a possible swing. With respect to the day trade, obviously, I just finished yapping about how it was respecting the 10 exponential. This is the 1 minute chart though. Look how strong Dell is. It's holding the 10 like a glove. When you look at the 5, it's getting extended from the 10. It's about $1.50 away from the 10 on the 5. So I wouldn't punch long here. I'd wait for retracement into 141.5. There's price action crest over there. You have a double top essentially at 141.5 intraday. If Dell doesn't come back there, then I don't trade it, but I don't punch in at highs. I just want to see there. Yeah, shout out to you, and Elon. I know you're always looking at that. Shout out to you. Xi, GameStop, big drop. Let's pull up GME and see what Xi's talking about there. Yes, so we come back in. At least we tried there, Xi, to do a rounded bottom, retrace off that, 27 and a fifth touch. Even though the majority of the prints were at 27 and 2/3, we try to make it back into 28 and 2/3, 28 and 3/4, which is Friday's closing print. Surprise, surprise. You hit a wall of sellers and you drop a buck. So keep your eye on GME. We definitely will. AMC also had kind of a simultaneous drop off 5 and teens right down into 5 again. So keep your eye on the pair. I certainly will. GME and AMC, definitely both on watch today. Softy, wow, what a retracement here. Don't know what's going on with Softy if this is being traded intraday by big money, but you touch 445 and a fifth and you tank below to 443.75. That's, I don't want to say uncharacteristic for Softy, but it hasn't been moving like that lately. I don't want to, paint with a wide brush or whatever, but anyway, MSFT definitely off 445 and a fifth a dare.
Yeah, I mean, that Microsoft, that's an interesting drop there. We'll have to see what it does at that 443 level, which is kind of that top earlier. But I have some choice words for Nvidia, and that word is oof. No, I'm joking. So basically, I tried to go short this again. I do still think, I know, but I did go short here 131 because I watched what I saw in the book, and I watched a couple times that 131 level. So I thought, hey, this could be decent short. We could get like 20 pennies here. Nvidia decided to come back up. I was going to give it to 130.130. Get above 130.130, and I'm like, okay, we leave, right? No problem there. Nvidia shows me that I need to leave. I leave. Then immediately after, it drops right back below, and I'm like, Nvidia, you could have just done this while I was still in it, but it's all good. Maybe I should have given it to 130.140. That's a lesson for myself. Maybe I should have waited for the entry until 130.130. So there's things to reflect on from every single trade. I'm not going to sit here and be little boy blue because the stock didn't give me what I wanted. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to be pretty open about that. I think we could be coiling for a move higher. I still want to watch this 131. Basically 131.50 rejection kind of area. That is still going to be incredibly spicy to me. I just need to be trading it in a way that makes more sense. If I had stayed in it when I initially got involved at 130.130s and just continued to scalp in and out, I probably would have been fine. So that's really just some reflection for myself here. So we're going to have to wait and see how this does. I want to shout out the Freedom and Wealth podcast because they had a new episode this weekend. It was a great watch. Okay. And one of the things that was said there is about resilience. And I totally relate to that. It's like, the people who are going to give it 100%, the people who have like nothing left, you know what I mean? When your back is against the wall. And I think as someone who I feel like I have always kind of performed the best, especially in trading when I do feel a little bit back to the wall action. I think it's a really interesting point. It definitely made me reflect as I was watching the podcast and doing my makeup this morning. So hopefully we can be resilient traders up in here. Down in the day, but up on Tesla, and always bullish positivity and spirit. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, GME is going to be interesting for me as well. IWM coming back into my area of interest with that lower high and that 198, 10 to 20 rejection. So we might have to get some scalps here. Let's see what we see. What's everyone else looking at here? Michael Dell on CNBC, says Darwin. So that's an interesting look for Dell as well. Because I remember that day we were like, what's the name of the CEO of Dell? And then we found out it was, in fact, Michael Dell. Oh, Nvidia Dell was at one point at 666. It's kind of an interesting omen there. Let's see how Dell goes. Yeah,
I just wanted to mention the Freedom of Wealth podcast. Thanks for reminding me about that, guys, because this version or volume 3, episode 3 was one hell of a banger. I love how they talk about entrepreneurship and the success, the mindset that you have to have in entrepreneurship, the key traits like superiority, impulse control, consistency, dedication, time management. These are all things that really help, successful people manage their time and stay successful. I love how they talk about the Musk man and Aunt Kathy as well, and the mentality that those two have. The hard skills, the soft skills. This was an alpha podcast, guys. Reframing sales as a mindset of self-improvement, outsourcing and leveraging the strength of others in your team to help you achieve the most. So I made notes on this one because it was quite lengthy, but yeah, it was an hour long. So make sure, if you are not subscribed to the Freedom and Wealth podcast, you got the Brendo on the right, you got the Katina man on the left, and you've got umpteen amount of wisdom between the both of them. Get to YouTube right now. Hit that subscribe and make sure to like and hit the notifications so you can know when it gets dropped at Saturday at 10 a.m. every weekend, so you can be reminded. Shout out to Freedom and Wealth. All right, so I put in a dip trade here on MSFT to get long at 443.5. The idea for this was to take a previous area of technical resistance at 443. That's where we crested out and look to get some a bounce off there. It looks like Microsoft too strong on the day. In fact, so strong, it's not coming down into price action resistance. Previously resistance, I'm assuming support this time, nor is it coming down into the 10 exponential on the 5. 443 3/4 is where it's hanging out, the 10 period exponential, but it looks like the whole dollar right now is acting as a good level of support on MSFT. I'm leaving my order at the $0.50 to go long. I'm sitting at 55s. I'm only 22 pennies from getting filled according to this last price over here. I like this level. Let's see if we can get something there. I also liked Apple 10 exponential on the 5, and there was a couple of reasons for that. This is a price action resistance over here before we broke it using this candle with big boy volume. This level is 216.25. We right back at 216.25, 216 high teens, and we're holding this level, but these are all doji candles of indecision, showing you an equilibrium between buyers and sellers at this level. But I do think this is a good look for AAPL. And I'm interested in getting in possibly at the $0.25 if I'm able to weasel an entry there. So it looks like I might get close to get filled here in Softy as it comes into 2/3 of a dollar. My out's going to be the break of 443. So we'll load up AAPL now on this one as I'll look to sit at the $0.25 for a fill.
Yeah, my fatal flaw here, my Hamarsha, my Achilles heel, whatever literary or mythological term you want to use for some of these trades, continues to be I don't have enough confidence. It's like I want to wait for that one extra secret sauce. And it's like sometimes your confidence is the secret sauce. You know what I mean? Not to be all philosophical and weird about it here, but basically I did want, I actually think, maybe good I didn't get involved in this, but I saw this Nvidia, I saw this little topping tail candle here. We're still bouncing off the 90 MA, mind you, but we keep rejecting that 130, 140. So I was like, I want to take this short. And then Nvidia, as I put that order in, was like, actually, no. So that was like, okay, I'm going to get back involved in this, though. I saw, again, another just rejection of any attempts to break into that 40 here. If we break above 50s, I'm out. I'm outie. I'm whatever vehicle you want to insert there. But let's see what this goes with the NVDA. This is my biggest issue, is continue to be just waiting for that one extra confluencing factor, not being fast enough. So I think I owe it to myself to attempt these trades if I feel good about them. So that's my rant on that. IWM is another one I missed just because I wasn't fast enough on the draw. I wanted to see the 198.20 rejection. I got it, wasn't fast enough. By the time I saw this, we were at like 198.05s. I wanted 198.07s. IWM's like, no, we're not going to do that. So that's all good. If we see another kind of rejection of VWAP or something, I will get involved, but always trying to stay positive because, the market does not care about your feelings, and it will just, be like a little shark alligator trying to nibble on your profits, eat you up, and you just have to be there and keep fighting. So that's what we're going to do here. SPY, creeping the itsy bitsy spider, maybe creeping up the spout here. Shout out to Obi because he's dropped that one before. We have 3 candles here to the downside on the 5-minute chart. We'll see what we do with the 90 MA. That's not always going to be a level of interest for these indices, but that, something to watch out for. But I see Sharif here and do nice little longs here on the 7s.
We'll see. We'll see how they work out here. Already wet my beak on some profits on Apple. put my order out at the $0.25 on Softy, 445 $0.25, looking for a retracement and a hold of the 10-period exponential. That's the kind of the whole precipice of this trade. We'll see what we get here. All right, so we just took 15 pennies super quick on Apple. Apple, I feel less confident about than Softy. I feel Softy has a better chance, I guess, of holding the 10-period than does Apple, just given the umpteen amount of doji candles on the 5 that Apple has put in. So we'll see what we get there. I put my profit taker on Softy at the $0.25, 4.4 at a $0.25. That's kind of just halfway from where the 10 is. The 10 exponential on the 5 and the high a day at 4.45 and a fifth. So we'll see if we get that print on Apple. Quite frankly, the level that I'd like to take it out at is going to be 75s. So we'll go ahead 216 and we'll put 73s to kind of front run that size. It's going to have to make its way up there. The out for me is going to be the break of 216. So that's already put in there. Wow, Softy just came back down after holding the 10-period there. So we're break even on this one right now. The out for me on Softy is going to be the break of the $0.50 because, well, not the break of the $0.50, the break of 40 pennies. This is price action support over here. So it has to hold this level. Otherwise, the trade isn't right in my estimation. So that's going to be my line in the sand there. Tesla, very close to day's highs at 186 2/3 and coming down now below 186 at 185.
Yeah, Tesla looks kind of flat top breakish perhaps at this point. We had that sort of double top. We had slightly higher lows with actually that support and resistance flipping at that previous little pop here at 185. So this actually could get kind of spicy. I might, like I said, I hesitate to take longs because I feel like I have not as good of a read on where to go long, which I know is kind of an odd thing to say, but it's just, you know, when you notice things, it's worth interrogating them. And of course, like not, you know, resting on, obviously you want to improve upon things, but I think especially with a name like Tesla, it's something I'm not going to take unless I feel massive confidence there. So let's keep an eye on Tesla. I did my Nvidia fill for the short, sad face, but it's all good. It's all good. You just got to keep going. I have a plan here, and I want to wait sure and see if the book validates that plan. But my plan, although this bottoming tail candle kind of, you know, poo-pooing this plan, was to add to this heading up into 130s. Then I can piece out as I get my rejection into 131s. Now, Nvidia 301s would be like a, you know, that would be a plot twist that we don't have right now. But yeah, so we're gonna have to see how this actually manifests. Like I said, the confidence, whatever word you want to use, has just not been there today, which is like obviously pretty unfortunate. So just trying to get back to that level, trying to climb up to the upside in this P&L, and hopefully doing so with with Nvidia climbing to the downside. No, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to get married to like a short position in Nvidia just because. Nvidia is just the area levels wise that I feel the best about because we do have this rejection of that previous little base here at 130, 150. This is an area I liked earlier. I just didn't trade it appropriately. So it's like, Adara, come back in. Show Nvidia who's boss. Hopefully me, probably Nvidia, and definitely Jensen Huang as Nvidia CEO. So we're gonna have to see what we do here. Like I said, same levels I'm watching here. 130, 150 breakout. I'm done. Au revoir. If I see anything on the book that's kind of sketching me out before then, I will scrape out or get out entirely. But again, you owe it to yourself to try these trades. And again, you know, you don't want to get married to an idea that doesn't work. But if you still have confidence in the idea, I think you owe it to yourself to attempt that idea. Let's take a look here at super chat from Kyle Burdett there.
Yes, Big Kyle, 199 super chat. Big Kyle Burdett SPY, 3 red 5-minute candles. Huadunk. Let's have a look at the SPY. Big Kyle, I hope you're on the new contract because we've rolled over at this office. I don't know if you did on your side or not. Let's pull up the September contract there. So yes, I see that. That's 4K. If this one closes, Big Kyle, then that's going to be 4 in a row on that bad boy, and then we could be seeing 55. The closing print on Friday for the September contract was 55.02. You can kind of see the umpteen amount of touches there in the pre where we kept rejecting off that white line, then broke it at 10.55. So yeah, shout out to you. Let me know how it goes with that short on the SPY. So I was looking to take out Apple at the $0.75. I still think I'm going to hold on to it. It is curling up a little bit. Here comes 50 pennies. There is a seller at 50, owing to the amount of times we've come into 50 and I haven't seen size. Speaking of level 2, here we go. So let's show you. Now look, there's nothing here. There's barely anything. There we go. Do we break through it? Let's watch. Yes, yeah, we are breaking through it. And you can kind of see all the size over here coming on the left, but then pushes right back down again. So we'll look for that bigger level, and I don't see any big size on any level on Apple, to be quite honest with you. So we'll have to look at the tape, and I definitely see larger size coming in on the mid print though, coming in yellow, right? So it's kind of hard to interpret when you see it as yellow because it's neither positive nor negative. All right, here we go. Into the $0.0025 goes Apple. We're long 25s. I'm sitting at 75. I don't want to say any bad words, but I'm not taking anything out here. I'm going to wait for it to get to 75. Softy, right back up again. It held 444. I'm sitting at the $0.25 waiting to get printed. We're long 90s. The $0.25 is about 5 or 10 pennies away from here. We'll see if we get filled. There has been some selling coming in here on MSFT as of late. It's holding the 10 period, but not the same strength that it had. There we go. Now we get the print on MSFT. So that's a good print there. We're going to keep holding this one because the technicals don't say to get out. Back to Apple. We're almost printed. There we go. Now we got printed at Apple. That's a big win there for Apple. That's like an 80 penny winner. Oh, sorry, 60 penny winner there on AAPL. So we'll pack our patience with the softy because we're still holding a piece on Microsoft here. There.
Yeah, congrats on that trade. That's an awesome look there. Macro trade there on Microsoft. Also, I didn't realize Microsoft was like a Jay-Z fan there with that 444 level. So shout out to that Jay-Z album. Shout out to Microsoft here. Nvidia, I'd love to shout you out, but like you kind of had to do something. We are still trying to knock on the door and break down below that 131 level. Again, I have no reason to leave. I'm still looking to add here, heading up into that 131.30. If we get above into that 131.40, 131.50, buy. NVDA, we're not going to be in sync anymore. But we're going to have to wait and see here what we do on this NVDA. I have an initial beak wetter here set just below that one, just above a 131.80s, 130.80s is where I'm kind of looking. So we're going to have to wait and see what we want to do. NVIDIA precariously perching here around this 131 level. But either way, I had confidence in the trade, so I'm happy that I had the gumption or whatever word you want to use, probably not gumption, to get back involved here because you do need that confidence, you need that resilience. So Sharif and I, again, going to shout out that podcast this weekend because what we want is traders' freedom and wealth. And so you can learn a little bit more about both. BTC looking good to move up, says TX Trader. Let's take a look at IBIT here to see a bit of what IBIT and Bitcoin. Oh, first year pushback of the week. So I think we are trying to move up here, at least on IBIT though. What I'm seeing is A, resistance at 37.40, and B, lower highs. There are lower highs here. Also, I mentioned this on the crypto update because this was such too weird of a fact to not mention. But Bitcoin miners massively outperforming Bitcoin itself. This, like all 14 US miners there collectively, I think the market cap was like over 22 billion according to JP Morgan. There was one miner up over like 100% last month or this month so far. So yeah, it's been an interesting look there for IBIT and some of these Bitcoin names. I think for it to move up, I'd like to see us break above that 36 level, then above that pretty clear double top resistance at 37.40s, which was punctuated actually with that baby topping tail candle over here. Let's see. But hey, IBIT, if you want to be in a range, I might be more than IBIT interested in you. So we have to take a look at that. AMD also doing something around 156. I'm going to have to get out of its cousin NVDA before I think about AMD. NVIDIA, though, within my areas, let's keep going. Happy I got my second fill. NVIDIA, if you want to go lower, who am I to say no to you? How are you?
Yes. I'm waiting on Softy here. I put my order out at 72s. The front run the $0.75. The $0.75 has resistance level 1 on pivots. Not like I'm entirely, basing my entries on pivots, but we did get a hold of the IB low right at pivots, 440.72. Whether or not that means anything to you, I mean, you can decide. This is this aqua dotted line. That's resistance level 1 on pivots. So I put my out just a little bit ahead of that in case it does act as a local area of resistance. We're having trouble with the half dollar, the 444 half dollar. We come into 49s, 50s, and as you can see here, we're definitely encountering some resistance there, as you can see here on the book. I want to show this to you guys. You see this one? You see all these orders coming here on one? These are not people buying one share of Microsoft. This is what we call a liquidity algo. And what this is doing, it's testing the liquidity. It's testing to see whether other algos will respond to its liquidity grabs. It's testing to see, is there a buyer for this at this level? What kind of exuberance we have? I don't know exactly what it's up to, but it runs on Apple. It's running now on Microsoft. I've seen it on other programs as well. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys on the tape today, because this is something that fits in with what we're talking about, right? So at the moment, we're finding resistance at the half dollar. Couldn't break through that half dollar in the last occasion. We got up to 54s on the ask and didn't clear 50s on the bid. So definitely a bit of a seller there. We'll have to pack our patience to get that out. I'm still waiting for about 72s. You guys can't see it over here, but there's a yellow line. Oh, you can see it a little bit. That yellow line is my resting profit taker. We'll see if it gets filled or not. Apple, right back into the area where I got filled, up into 75s again, 216.75. It's at 2%. In the clear, it's not even close to day's highs. Day's high is 217 in the third, so we'll have to wait for that. It's been a good recovery here for Meta, because I'll tell you, I was really close to pulling the trigger short on this Meta 50 period dine and dash. I mean, every time it came into the 50 period Adara, it would seem to reject, and then it was able to take it over here. Well, and we mentioned that it was putting in higher lows, so that was kind of the thing that kind of held me back from really not going gung-ho right there at the 50 on MET. I was going to go short at 50 and 3/4, 50 and 4/5. Sorry, 500 and 4/5, 500 and 3/4. There you go. Touches 501 and 4/5 there as it looks to go back into break even. To break even, though, it's got to get all the way up into 504. So still a little bit away from that. So topping tail candle right now on Softy, and this is not what I wanted to see. I'm long 90s and it's coming back into 16s after touching 54s. This is a problem, okay? Now, what I'm gonna wait for is to see, does it break down below the 10 period? Because it's held the 10 period so strictly for $400 name. This is as strict as it gets. I mean, to me anyway. So I don't want to paper hand this trade. I don't want to base everything on one measly candle that hasn't even closed yet, especially in light of the fact that it's just moving right back up into the 40s again. So if we break the 10 period on MSFT, I'm out, but I'd like to wait as much as I can to see if I can get that 3/4 touch there. On the futures, shout out to Big Kyle, because I know Big Kyle wants to take the ES short. This is the NQ, obviously, so not the same thing. But we are definitely consolidating at this high over here. Notably, though, we are holding that 20,000 level. And that's a big level, guys. I'm not talking about the comp. I'm not talking about the NDX, the exchange. I'm talking about the futures contract, right? So maybe not as big as a deal on the future, but 20,000 nonetheless. And we're kind of bull flagging here a little bit, if I can say so. But, you know, I'm not really one to use chart patterns on these futures, but. Gaurav, thoughts on DraftKings? Looks like an uptrend today. Absolutely, Gaurav. We'll give you our thoughts on Donkey Kong. Let's pull up DKNG over here. Obviously, this has been a big boy winner. As you know, it overtook FanDuel last year, or late last year, early this year, as the numero uno online gambling site. But marginally, though, by 1%, right? Took 33 to 32%. Donkey Kong looking awfully fantastic today. And let's find out if there's a headline for it. There is. Thank you. I don't see it. What was it?
Oh, it's more just generally for like gambling related stuff. But basically, Florida, there's another Supreme Court related thing actually with Nvidia, but also apparently, basically Florida sports betting allowed to continue, I guess, online.
I see.
So that was, there.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That's from Benzinga. Thank you, Adara. Watching shares of sports betting companies, traders circulate. The U.S. Supreme Court has denied the petition to hear the Florida sports betting case. The gaming compact allowing online sports betting in Florida stands. It looks as if DeSantis and the crew over there may not want sports betting in their state. It looks like maybe the Supreme Court not going to give them a right of audience here, so we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. They are the last line, though, in the legal system, so if the Supreme Court don't want to hear you, that's kaputs for you there. So 41.25 HOD. Mad respect today for Donkey Kong and the 10 exponential on the 5. This looks like a great entry, Gaurav, off the 10, but, you know, definitely topping out here. We've used that 41.25 as a bit of a local top for a hot minute. Quickly, before we send it back to Adair, I just want to check on Softy. Again, we moved back. How high did we get there? We got into 68s. I'm sitting at 72s. I didn't get filled. Into 50 we go.
Yeah, so basically just put this in the chat, but the GME meeting started playing what I can only describe as the most easy listening instrumental soft rock I have ever heard into my ear. I'm going to drop the link in for this GME meeting. I want to shout out Sharif. Thank you so much for finding this link for us to watch this meeting. But right now it's going do.
Is it working?
Yeah, I'm hearing some soft guitar rock. The meeting has not started yet, but the guitar rock, for better or worse, has. So it's a sign. Hopefully, Kitty's crew, well, not Ron Kitty himself, but GameStop and their people, Ryan Cohen and crew, are maybe making their way soon. The meeting's supposed to start in about 37 minutes. But you know what has actually also started is this continued downward move here. And NVDA, we're below the 90 MA, which is like one of my favorite indicators. So I'm pleased as punch with that. I want to talk about this because I think one thing, and I think this is valid, some people in the chat were basically saying, oh, you know, Nvidia maybe trying to move back towards the VWAP area. So I want to explain what I saw that made me take this trade. Why I like this trade and why I was so consistently aggressive with this trade was because I did see this continued failure of VWAP here, and not even just VWAP. It's actually also confluence with that previous area of support here that we had at 131.50s, 131.40s. So I said, Adair, I think you owe it to yourself to attempt this. That's why I continue to go with it. I'm down in the name right now, but we are in the money for this current position. I'm okay with adding if we get to 131.08. What I'm looking for is lower highs in the book, which we have certainly been getting in spades. We have not been back to that 131.10 level in a little bit, so we're gonna have to wait and see what we get. If I don't add to this position, no skin off my back. I'm not gonna, you know, cry over spilt milk or lost shares over here. As Sharif said, you're always gonna be angry as a trader.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes I'm gonna be like, I didn't get enough of a position, but I have to, you know, you gotta be happy with, as Neil often says, you get what you get and you don't get upset. I'd love to see Nvidia break below 130.80s. Yeah, Nvidia, I see you. Keep cracking lower. And if that's where the cookie crumbles, I'm down for that. I want to get out of this by 130.60. That was an area of resistance earlier, and resistance and support flip-flops can happen and have pretty frequently on Nvidia today. I just want to shout out your Microsoft trade.
Oh,
that
thank
was a great look there. Honestly, like, congrats. Shout out to Sharif. Also, the same easy listening rock song has repeated, so I guess that's the only song they have for this conference. So I'm gonna have to listen to that for the next
Maybe that's the
35 minutes.
only song they paid for the licensing for.
That would actually track. Where they had some dude like strumming his guitar in the bedroom. I don't know. It's a sound. It happens.
I want to shout out Octavio. He knows what the assignment is, guys. He wants to hear about KAV on the afternoon rundown, and this is your opportunity to have your say. Every day between 2 and 2:30, the Big Kahunas will give you their look on the ticker of your choice. You just got to make sure that it reaches the top 5. So go ahead and solicit your friends in the chat to join you in voting for the ticker of your choice. Get into the chat right now. Hit exclamation point, type in the word join, space, the $, and the ticker of your choice. I'm assuming we'll have a lot of Nvidia love today, a lot of Apple love that it's back 2% in the clear again. Maybe even Microsoft as well with the Dan Ives update there with Wed Bush. So make sure, go in the chat, do as this animation tells you that Fabian so kindly put together. Join and exclamation point join, $, and the ticker of your choice. All right, I'm happy that I did get out of this softy trade, as it was, you know, definitely showing that it had possibly kind of, you know, I don't want to say topped out or anything like that, but I ended up moving down my my resting profit taker from 72, and I got it out at 62. So I had to forego 10 pennies there to make sure that I got the out. And, you know, it looked like a good decision, but right when the price action comes right back into those highs again, then you start questioning yourself. One thing I'm definitely not doing is questioning myself for not having gotten into the Meta short. Meta has been an awesome recovery, 496.01 low of day, and now it's a 502 touch. that we just got into. So a nice $6 recovery off the lows, and it was one quick candle that got us all the way down on the IB low there, and then a nice slow, steady recovery. Doesn't it always seem that way, that the recovery is a little bit slower than the tanks, the Huadunks? Alas, we are at the 200 on the 5 right now and encountering some resistance. I'd like to see how we trade at this 502, between 502 and 503, because that was the consolidation area range in the pre. 502 to the low side, 503 to the high side. Pivots is at 503.5. Great recovery by Meta, but I'm hesitant to want to punch in at highs just because I don't really feel like I have a good understanding of the chart. Apple, look at this rejection over here. It tried to take 217 again. It got to 217.07s, and then it dropped over $1. Look at it, and it's still going. So breaking the 20 period here on the 5, breaking the whole dollar level at 216, and it looks like it's poised to come in for that VWAP, maybe touch or glance or whatever. We'll have to wait and see how long or how deep it gets down there. This is inaccurate, obviously. It didn't print 218 today. That's a dark pool print on my chart on a platform that I rarely get dark pool prints on. Let's see if that showed up on P-Pro 8. It did, but the P-Pro 8 wick is a lot higher. That Pre-Pro 8 wick came into 220. My platform wick came into 218. In either case, both of those are wicks. Now, I got short here on Apple because, again, this is an uncleaned up stop. So I have to get out of that super quick, get out for flat there. So we got in, got out, and that just kind of helps me remind myself you need to clean up your stops that don't trigger. So I've done that there.
Nice, yeah. I'm pretty sure my villain origin story is gonna have to be hearing this GameStop song over and over. We're now on round 3. So yeah, shout out, I'm very happy for that meeting to start. Yeah, I'm keeping the sound on because I want to be able to ensure I hear if anyone starts talking, but yeah, it's a song. It's still going on here. Let's see how Tesla goes. I am long Tesla. Why am I long Tesla? I like this 90 EMA hold here. I said earlier I thought this could potentially be a flat top breakout. Not sure if we're going to get that, but I still feel good about the long regardless because we have had these higher lows. I'm risking her into 185.27s. That was the area I liked initially as a stop for my short earlier. And also the other reason I liked it is because would basically be like a lower low on these recent candles. So that's where I want to leave. Dawn Cotton, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Where do you guys think Best Buy goes from here? Yeah, I was saying to Sharif this morning, Best Buy does, yeah, definitely not the worst buy here. Oh, yeah, I like this. I find this chart interesting because I think we could kind of go, I don't know why I got the for that, but I'm pleased to have it. Look at this top that we have here at 90.30, right? We have some wicks above, below. Oh, the GameStop song started again. All around here, I want to see what we do. Looks like right now we're trying to break lower here at the 90 MA. So I think this could be either a rounded top here, especially with these topping tail candles, or we could continue to push higher. I'd like to see a candle close above that 90.30 area on a closing basis for the 5 minute. Let's take a look at the daily chart as well for Best Buy because, you know, let's see your question. I think it might be, you know, kind of also beneficial to see what we're doing in the daily chart. Right now on the daily chart, Best Buy, this is a flag breakout if I've ever seen one. With this gorgeous bull flag here in Best Buy, top and turn, bounce off the 90 MA beautifully. And it's a really nice look here, I have to say, Dawn Cotton. So I think this is yeah, great daily chart, continuing to push to the upside. The next level I would see if we fall, I'd watch to see what we do at 82.70. Why 82.70? We had a bit of a flat top here earlier before falling back down. So if we, you know, resistance and support, flip-flops are definitely known to happen. If we do indeed have that break here below that 83, if we bounce at that 82.70, that could be a nice look. Also nice look is Tesla. I am pleased to sponge about. Let's see what we do here. We are about a penny away. Yeah, we got our first fill here. So nice. Please just punch. I'm happy I added to this position. Right now, I still have room for 2 more beak wetters. Yeah, this is a nice look. As long as we have higher lows, I'm not going to leave this. My biggest issue has just been taking 2 small positions and then trying to add it in opportune moments. So I tried to be a little bit more, have a bit more foresight in terms of the position sizing over here. I want to get the next piece out at 186.20s. Not sure if we're going to get that, but I mean, if we want to get that Tesla, I'd be pleased to punch with you. If I see anything in the book I don't like, I will scalp out. I also did get out of the Nvidia short, which I have not talked about since I last talked here, but like I said, the level I wanted was 130.70s. I noticed we paused a bit, 130.60s. We paused at 130.70, so I got out there. If we keep projecting the 90 MA, I will take scalps short on NVDA. But right now, my focus is on NVIDIA's Mag 7 cousin, the Tesla, the Cybertruck, the one and only. That level you got out of Microsoft, that was a really good call. I just want to shout out that Microsoft.
Thank you, I appreciate you, yeah. I've since switched here to Amazon, and I want to make my point. I'm going to get to space in a second, Bala. I know that you want me to look at space, and I promise you I will. But I just want to talk about Amazon for a second over here. Not something that I'm going to put a resting order at. You guys know how I roll. I need proof that this is going to actually hold this level. But the IB low on AMZN is 181.35. We have come down into this level. The lowest print so far since that 35 has been 37s. That was at the candle that we put in at a quarter to the hour. We're at 45s right now. But, you know, this is still showing you lower highs, lower lows, still well below the 10 on the 5, the 10 exponential on the 5-minute chart. I need proof, as Neil would usually say, getting it on the back end. So this is going to have to show me a couple of green candles that make higher highs and higher lows to prove to me the respect that it's going to have, if it has it, for this IB low level. I already have kind of one check mark is that it's holding up at the IB low, meaning that there are buyers that are interested in it at the IB low. Now, are the buyers strong enough, exuberant enough to help this stock overwhelm the sellers so we could curl back up maybe into that VWAP area, 182 and a fifth, whatever it's going to be. You know, we'll get what we get, and we won't get upset with this trade because we're trading it off lows. If we trade, it's down 1.17 on the day. Anyway, keeping my eye on this one. I like the fact that it's at lows. No news catalyst, I believe, today on Amazon. I'm going to double check that super quick. Amazon accused of audiobook monopoly. That's old news there. Just looking down, Broadcom related stuff. Not anything specific to Amazon today that I would, you know, say, yeah, that justifies this big move down on AMZN. So keeping an eye on Amazon here, I could definitely be persuaded to get in if this curls right back up. But let's go to Meta for a second here, because we were talking about this consolidation area in the pre possibly being an area of resistance. And lo and behold, it comes into the IB high. The IB high is this 930 candle over here. The high is 502.57. And this high that we just put in right now, 502.47. So yeah, that's kind of look. As we mentioned during the week when we talk about the implied balance high and low, these are zones. They are not prices. They have prices attached to them, but by not definition, but by use and practice, they are zones. So you should be looking. If I can show this quickly, Ramram, before we send it to Neil. If you're looking at this high over here, you can't be just like, oh, 502.57. I'm going to put a resting order to go short at 502.57. It may not make it up there. And case in point, this candle up here. So I'm looking for a possible retracement down here on Meta. Not saying it will, but just alive to the fact that one could come. Neil Roberts is ready for his lesson of the day.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. Go long Tesla. No, I mean, obviously today Tesla is an absolute beast, so there's no chance. Let's think about this. If you're looking for an opportunity to learn from something today, if you were not, say, long Tesla at any point, then it behooves you to ask yourself, how could I have been in that position? That's all I want to think about today. It's not, oh, wow, woe is me. Or you could have made some money scalping short at certain levels on Tesla. There's nothing wrong with that. But the stock is up 5%. It's trending up. And when you're without longs, the question should always be, how could I have been into the long? Where could I have gotten into it? How could I have used all the work that I'd already done on Tesla to maybe make some better decisions and be a little bit more profitable on it? That is the goal of trading. That is what we all aspire to overall. So the first thing I want to say is, if you've done all the work, whether it's overnight or Sunday for the entire week, all your charting and your key levels, which I know a lot of us do, you don't throw that out the window. Because what can end up happening is you'll find your levels that can be really good, And even if you use them in the wrong direction, they should be able to inform you of something you can clue in on. So let me just go to the higher time frame chart first. Let's start it out by Tesla, very tight range recently. There's your 50 period on the daily, bouncing twice off of those bottoms. Weak on Friday. I mean, obviously shorts were really, really good at 182 breakdown on Friday, and that was a previous support level. So it stair step down. The 180 was a good short in the afternoon. That was a good level as well, and probably should have recognized this close here going back to the 12th. 77 was also a bottom. So if we're doing our diligence, I didn't draw the 177 line in there. So there's your obvious key levels. We're talking about all multi-day price levels here on Tesla. 180 was huge resistance before it gapped above and then lost. The consolidation down here is going to be the key. So 77 into 180 consolidates. Well, if you've heard me say something on the show, it is that a false break of a huge bottom is usually pretty bullish. So it's easy enough to slap a fail on looking for shorts on Tesla. But here's what happened right away at the open. It's pre-market fair, but it's a false break of Friday's low and then holding the 177. That's a bit of a bullish mark. Now, I didn't sniff it out. And in that situation, if I'm shorting the 180 level, I'm just going to short it and I'm just going to lose, and we're going to take our out, thankfully, and not fight the stock. When it gets to the next level up, here's where I think there's the opportunity for you to start looking at something a bit different. Now, I did ultimately short this, and I did half of it right. And the half was getting in, not waiting for it to break the high, just getting out of the trade. And the reason I did that is because I just said, well, if it's bouncing off one level and bouncing off two key levels, okay, well, what's happening in this consolidation? It had a trend line up. And then I told myself, okay, well, at least at a bare minimum, I'm not going to short that level unless it breaks the trend line down, which it never did. So with all these small steps that you can make, in this case, it just saved me from losing on a short. It didn't make me money on the long, but it saved me from losing again on that short trade because I observed something in the strong trend that required confirmation for me to go against the grain. The next step there would be simply to trade it in both directions. Because if you have a very key level, like the 80 was, like the 182 was this morning as well, you should be willing, if it sets up as a day trader, to trade it in both directions. Now, I wasn't in this particular case, and that's why it's a learning lesson for today. But if I was, I have no problem saying 82 is a key price. We're trading right in there. Trend is hold. If it breaks trend underneath, I short it and give it back to 82. But you can also just look for that long. It's not mutually exclusive. You can reverse that trade. You can be long at 82 to this trend break. It's less than $0.50, and then reverse into a short, which has plenty of room in the other direction. Now, the key is it's not automatically reverse your trade if it breaks your key price. Look for something which gives you confluence. And it's that simple trend that I look to follow after the open that gives me that confluence had it broke into the downside. Well, it can work in both directions. That same trend can give me the move to the upside. Now, there are times when reversing or taking a trade in the other direction off a key level is a lot easier than others. I'm going to give you an example of such. This would be, Mara. Let's go to the 15-minute. I always like to start from a higher time frame. So Mara, if you look at what's been going on down around $19 on the 50-period moving average of Mara, it's at $18.80. So here's your 50 period. You've been bouncing off of it, a couple of wicks underneath, but for the most part, it's held that level pretty decently. And you look at what has happened when it has bounced off this level, and it's pretty gorgeous. You have maybe a wick bottom here and then a rally of $1. You have it fail underneath, immediately recover, and then when it breaks, right to the upside. Now, fortunately, one of the reasons I'm in this trade today is because I had this long on that day. But then you go in on Friday, and it bounces off to 19. So it's already shown you when it fails underneath 19 at the open, it's a pretty good short. When it regains 19, it had already been a good long. This is the definition of a level. It's already shown you what it does here at that particular price. You just jump in with the trend, and if you miss it the first time, do not be afraid to take the second trade. So in this case, it would have been 3. Here's it breaking back out and taking out 19 there. There was a nice little consolidation higher first, but then right off the 19 level into 19.5. Admittedly, just as we were ending our morning show. You know, you do a few hours on air, and the first thing you want to do is get up and go to the bathroom. It bounced off VWAP and reclaimed 19 for a third time. So you want to take all of that work, just to recap, that you've done, whether it's overnight, whether it's in the morning, whether it's over the weekend, of finding those key stocks at key levels that you know you want to trade of. And then look for reasons why you might want to go in both directions. Stock is weak underneath a certain price, shows you a long setup, higher lows, a V-shaped bottom, a failed break at the open, and a recovery. Those types of things can be bullish. So if you like the short in front of a level, if it does those things and breaks out that top, you reverse into a long. Something like Tesla, where I like the short levels at the 182, but if it showed me a clean upward trend up after the opening range was set, well, then I only short the 82 if it breaks the trend at that price. Otherwise, look for a long off of that trend at that key price. Always be mentally agile. Use all of the work that you've put in to find the right stocks and the right levels, then be mentally agile enough to trade them in both directions if you need to be. That's the advantage of day trading, and it's your lesson of the day. Be willing to go both directions, especially around those key price levels. They're good for a reason. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and awesome as always. Neil Roberts, every day around that noontime. He does do his lesson of the day, so make sure to catch that if you're interested. Before I send it back to Adair, I just want to say I'm in TRNR here, not as a breakout trade. So this is a small cap gapper, and you know I have typically a rule with these small cap gappers where I don't take breakout trades when the price level is south of VWAP. This is going to be a range trade based on key areas of support. I see this pre-market kind of high, this crest over here acting as a level of support. Ironically enough, we did break down well below the volume weighted average price and then found a bit of support there. I don't want to overstay my welcome because this is, you know, it may hit, it may miss. So my out is going to be below the low of this candle. So the break of 540 and ends it, and I'm looking at scalp in front of 6. So if we get that print just south of $6, I'll look to de-risk. If we break to make a newer low below this, I'm out. So we'll have to wait and see how this one ends up resolving. But this is kind of just a trade based on support and resistance there for this small cap gapper, not a breakout trade there. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I am maybe shocker, maybe not taking Nvidia short again. Why? Because I said earlier, I said that 130.60 was going to be my hard cutoff for the short. We did bounce at 130.60. However, the recovery from that bounce can only be described as meh. Like we couldn't even get to 131 last time, and I know this because I was in the short last time as well. That 130.60 breakout into 131 was like massive. It was vicious, and it basically took us in this candle right to that area that we then rejected again. So the fact that we don't get anything close to that this time, no viciousness, no swiftness, no aggression, I'm like, yeah, Dara, I think the short might still be in. Really small position. I don't know why I said really like that. We're going to have a really small position to start. The plan is to basically nurse this Nvidia into a full-grown child, breaking down maybe around that 130.60 area. Going to add basically as we continue to, you know, I still like the same level. It's going to be around that 130, 130. We're going to have to wait and see what we do. If we get to 131 and reject, I will add here. Basically, though, just again, practicing having that confidence and confidence, if you will, and just trading things when you see them, not getting too skittish, not getting too scared if you like the idea. AMD, I had this short here, got involved at just below 156.10s. We bounced off 156, unfortunately didn't work out. If we keep seeing these lower highs, I will try to short this again into VWAP. But yeah, it didn't work out. Timing wasn't great. All you can do is just say that, you know what happened, and move on and keep going. Resilience is great. Also, the TRNR was, yeah, that was an interesting look earlier today. I think this was like the best small cap gappers. Hope you print, as you always say to me.
Thank you. We'll have to wait. Hopefully, we'll print here. I want to mention for everybody out there, Carvana's having one hell of a day. And this is a name that I want to mention, even though I didn't have eyes on it, owing to its heavily shorted float. And so this one could become awfully parabolic and squeeze. Great look, touched 100 exactly on the day. $100.05 is the low. And right now we are printing day's high currently, $106.73, well off the lows. So $6.68 move off the lows there, and we're not done the day. So CVNA Good look, good recovery, holding all the exponentials, moving averages on the 5 and looking to move into high of day. Couple of things here that I want to mention. With respect to trades that we mentioned, we would be interested in earlier. Meta, short, exact level that we said, which was the IB high. It was off it by 2 pennies. So the IB high was 502.57. This candle got into 502.47 and it's still going. Watch out for 500 as support, okay? 562 right now. Watch out for that support level. It could also touch VWAP at 499.5. So keep your eye out for META here. Great retracement off the top. Amazon, the exact opposite. We were talking about the IB low, not the IB high, being that level of support. Lo and behold, I come back from the break and we're printing 2 candles to the high side right here, breaking the 10-period exponential, and we're on our way into 181 2/3, 181 3/4. This was a zone though, and this one definitely made a newer low. So a bit of a tougher one, I would say, on Amazon than maybe on META, because META kind of almost held the zone exact. So yeah, I want to mention both those two for anybody who's interested. With Meta though, I definitely keep my eye on a hold up at the volume weighted average price or at 500. Just be cognizant of those areas there. All right, let's see what we get here with TR. So let's see what we get. And we'll print there. So great trade so far on TRNR. And now we're about 30 pennies in the money here as it squeezes up again. This is not a breakout trade. I want to make it very clear that I'm not breaking my rules by taking TRNR long south of VWAP. My rule is I don't take breakout trades where I'm looking for a key area of retracement, then it holds off that level. This was a support and resistance trade based on the pre-market high over here, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly why I got in. Look at this level over here. That is the pre-market high. We did not print any higher than that level in the pre-market. Then the bell comes and we start skyrocketing. We sell off. You think this is by accident that we hold up at this level over here? This isn't by accident, guys, all right? This just is something that happens in technical analysis, and exploit it to your advantage. That's what the look is there on TRNR.
Oh yeah, sorry, it took me a second there. Congrats to you though
no
on that trade on the beak indeed being wet. I'm still in Nvidia at 1320 Wolves, like, oh, I'm gonna hit the thumbs down. No, yeah, guys, like I said, I got involved in this, and I said I was really cognizant of that 130.60 bounce, but when we got that bounce and did kind of, it wasn't like a big trampoline bounce, it was kind of more of like a, you know, like the little kids getting the trampoline for the first time, they don't really know like what to do. What is this? Why is it moving? That's what Nvidia did in this first bounce. And it was, to use an OBism, distinctly different from what we did the last time we bounced off that 130.60. So I said to Dara, you owe it to yourself to attempt this, right? So we're gonna attempt this. We're flat on it right now. NVDA, I did add just below that 131s. That's what the plan's gonna be. Like I said, we're gonna be more cognizant of this 131.30, 131.40, but confidence is key. Resilience is key. Resilience was, again, mentioned in that Freedom and Wealth podcast. Yeah, we're always feeling confident over here. So let's see how NVDA goes. Also, Tesla. So yeah, Sharif was saying to me, he's like, yeah, Tesla broke new all-time, or not all-time highs, but daily highs, sorry. Yeah. Nice look for TSLA. Why did I get out of it, you may ask? Yeah, so I got out of this because I realized I was like, Dara, you are not a high of day trader unless there's a range heading into that you like. This Tesla, you're gonna paper hand, you're gonna get weird about it. Just take your wins now. Be the type of trader that you are and stick, try to trade your book as much as possible. Shout out to Sean, who also says that frequently. So I wanted to trust myself there. I am a bit more of a scalper. I like to use a Sharif as a Dara Panera trades. So I decided to stick with that for the TSLA. Best name of the day by far for Tesla so far. If I see anything else I like in it, I might take it. But right now, nothing standing out to me. However, what is standing out to me is GameStop. GameStop right now, they're still playing the weird, easy listening guitar bedroom pop music right now. The strumming is continuing. Sharif heard the strumming and can confirm that it's a sound, is what I'll say about that. But yeah, so GameStop, I might try to get shorts in this at some point. I want to see what we do. I will not be short into the meeting. I might be short after the meeting or long if anything sets up. But right now, all I see is lower highs and a bit of a flat bottom here at 27.66. Let's see how this goes on GameStop. Will the GameStop, will it restart? Will it be paused? Will the mode change? Will the setting change? We'll have to find out here as this meeting is set to begin in 9 minutes. But you know what begins in almost 2 hours is our afternoon, our new rundown segment.
Oh, yeah.
And how do you participate in that, you may ask? Vote.
Yes, you got to vote. Otherwise, you don't get to have your say. Sean just got back from his walk and talk. I don't know. Do you guys know what he's traded? I don't know. But you won't know unless you throw your tickers in there and find out if he traded it. So get into the chat right now. Hit that exclamation point. Type in the word join, space, $, then the ticker of your choice. Whether it's GameStop, Apple. He had a banger on Apple. He had a banger on Nvidia. What else did you trade this morning? You traded a bunch of stuff every time. He's still in GameStop at the moment. So get into the chat right now. Have your say every day on the afternoon rundown. Yeah, and that's the look there. So I'm short here on AMZN for a 20-period rejection. So this one did reclaim the 10-period. I'm looking for a 20-period rejection. My out's going to be on the break of this high over here at 86s. So 181.8, we'll put 88s. And then we're going to cover the entire position there if it keeps heading up. I've got a beak wetter at low 60s. TRNR, let's go back to that one. And I did get printed there, so we're all done now on TRNR. And now I'm going to be smart enough to clean up my stops on this one because I don't want to get in trouble like I did last time. So TRNR, we take off the stop there. So printed nicely on that TRNR trade. I don't want to overstay my welcome on that. Again, it is not, this is breaking my rules, but not really because I didn't take it for a breakout trade, okay? So we're done that trade. We take a quick scalp, wham, bam, thank you, TRNR, and we're out of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Do you
I don't
wanna,
have anything to say.
Yeah, no problem. So again, I'm still waiting. I'm short 71s here on Softy. Sorry, not Softy, on AMZN. I'm going to take out everything if it breaks the high of this area. It's going to have to hold the 20 period. We'll see what we get there. Day trader cut. I went long on Amazon, bought some at 185 calls, LOL. My friend, we both can print. There is enough room there where I can scalp a little bit and then the move ends up going in your favor. So I hope you print. Goes without saying. I already just wet my beak there at 63s, took some out there for a little bit of winner, 9-penny winner there. We're going to have to wait for a lot more than that to do any damage on it, but this was a 20-period retracement. I just want to make that very clear. I hope you print on it. No doubt about that. Shout out to Day Trader Cut. Yes, I see people in there getting their say. I love it. Tracksuit. He wants to know about Polestar, but my man, Tracksuit, you can only vote for one. So I saw a tracksuit that you put in Polestar, Nvidia, and Micron, and I love your exuberance. Trust me, I do. I love it. But Streamlabs will only let you put in one ticker. So just submit one of those bad boys, not all three, but I love it. Monty's having his say. Monty wants to know about the SPY. Can you blame him? It's at highs. What else? Who else is voting in there? I see a bunch of people voting. Supres, he wants to know about IREN, not one that I know about. Maybe the big kahunas know. Drew wants to know about AMD. Ron John wants to know about Tesla. So does John. Get into the chat right now and get your say there.
Actually, I forgot about IRE, and there was a catalyst on this one today. They were circling some support from my financial magazine, basically saying that IREN is it's going places. Apparently, there's some AI connection. So nice look here for IREN continuing up the 90 EMA. Obviously, I am not a big kahuna, but I just know that name, so I wanted to mention it. Nvidia decided randomly, it was like, yeah, I've had enough, Adara, of you waxing poetic about how I'm feeling 131, okay? I'm gonna not do that anymore. And I'm like, okay, Nvidia, you can try. We're still, though, finding resistance at 131.40. It's shocking. It's just, again, I don't want to use distinctly different again, but it is, in fact, distinctly different. So I'm saying in this trade, like I said, 131.40, let's see what we do. I've always, like I said, I was always open to adding to this position, but I don't want to add into oblivion. That has definitely gotten me chopped up. In the past, it's gotten me tilted, so I want to see what we do here at 131.30s if we have like another little move down from here. We're bouncing off the 90 EMA now. I'm fully aware I could get stopped out of this, but I do owe it to myself to have that commitment to the trade, and if I don't have a reason to leave, I'm not going to. So yeah, Nvidia, you hear that? You hear that, Nvidia? So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens there. Nvidia's like, yeah, I do hear you. I'm gonna probably keep trying to go higher. I'm like, that's fine, Nvidia. You just could have told me that. So let's see what we do here.
The future's pumping and so's Bitcoin, yeah.
Everything's pumping here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to cover this, Adair, because it's just big moves right here. Future, more all-time highs. As you can see there, we had a consolidation area top, 20,025. We really blew by that. aggressively, and this is on high volume relative to the intraday. You can see the volume bars increasing there, and they're really picking up. So we always talk about volume as a good confirmatory tool, and so keep your eye out on the volume there, breaking through all-time highs, well above the pre-market high, well above that consolidation area top. Now, getting far enough away from 20,000 that you can confidently say that if we were to come back into 20,000, there's a good chance we could use it as a level of support. Can't always say that when you just get by it by a superficial amount. This, I would submit to you, 65 points here, 20,000, 65 and a half, high a day. That's a decent amount of a move here to kind of say, okay, yeah, we've gotten far enough away from 20,000. We could use it as support. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, but great move up here on the future. And simultaneously, as the future was going, and it's still going, by the way, which prompted me to stop out of my Amazon trade for the last little bit there, which I'm happy about because it's bringing everything else up over here. But here is BTC. BTC got a pump up too, but as quickly as it did pump up, it sold off. So that green candle up there from 65.125 into 65.7, yeah, it ends up being a bit of a nothing burger there, and it looks like the real move was on the NQ and the ES. So good retracement there. With respect to anything else that's being done over here, let's have a look at Tesla. Great look today on Tesla. Obviously, coming into the 10 period yet again, every single retracement to the 10 period has held up. We'll have to see if this one will be the first to break. The 20 period's at 185.50. But I'll just send it to you for a quick sec while I set up for the lesson.
Ooh, yeah, lesson time. Also, guys, the pop is still playing for GME. Every time the song's pause, I'm like, oh, could people be talking now? And no, my nightmare continues. So, yeah, I don't know if Ryan Cohen or anyone's watching this, but guys, next time, we don't need music or like different songs. You know what I mean? I think this song will, I could probably quote the song in my sleep now, and there's no words, it's just strumming. So shout out to that. Nvidia here, you know, shout out to anybody, 1320 Wolf, anyone long Nvidia here. We are pushing higher up into VWAP now, so great look there. Again, I stand by the attempts to short. I saw stuff I liked on it. I got involved. And we pushed into 50, so I got it right before that 50 break. So stay with my rules, please just punch. Sometimes you are going to a little bit cut up. You're going to lose stuff. I'm down in the day right now. But again, you owe it to yourself to try things. I'd rather try and have it not work out than not try and always wonder what could have happened. So there we go there.
So true.
Pushing into 132s on the book. This could be a spicy little breakout. But you know what's always spicy? Is learning. We're going to talk about our lesson of the day. Shout out to Sharif.
And if anything happens with that GameStop thing, just obviously interrupt me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I will.
All right, guys, we are talking about level 2 all week, but some of these lessons are going to require you to have a bit of just, you know, background information, a little bit of just, you know, introductory knowledge on level 2. So if that isn't you, just bear with us. You know, I just wanted to show you quickly here what the level 2 looks like in real life. This is kind of what it is. This blue stuff over here, you see this screen? This is what level 2 is. And all level 2 is showing you is the gateway. The gateway is the street, okay? So I'm right here. I'm in Toronto. How do I get to New York City to execute my order? There's multiple different avenues that I can take. Those are your gateways. Each avenue has its own nuances. Some are cheaper, some cost more, some are more liquid than others. Apprise yourself of it. That's what the street is. So when you see MPID, that's your gateway. Beside your gateway, you have the price, and you're going to see the price layered. You see 182.03, 82.02, 81.01, and it goes all the way down. And then next to that, you see SZ, that's size. And that is basically lots. That's not 4 shares. That's 400 shares sitting at that level, okay? So one number there represents 100. And then next to that, you can see the time. That's not really that important. But I want to show you, like, look how the window doubles. So you see the same thing on the left side as you see on the right side. That's because you have the bids, people who want to buy, and the offers, people who want to sell. And the difference between the highest price someone who wants to sell at versus the highest price, the lowest price someone wants to sell at, and the highest price someone wants to pay for it, the difference between those two numbers, that's the spread. As you can see on Amazon right now, that's a 1 or 2 penny spread, meaning that the cheapest someone is willing to sell Amazon is $181.98. Okay, 199, excuse me. And the most expensive anyone right now on the order book is willing to pay for Amazon is 97. That's obviously not a fact of real life because somebody could be punching in long right now and you have to look at the tape in order to see it. So that's all that it is, okay? You have the street, the price, and the size on the level 2. The street obviously is the gateway. I'm just simplifying it for you. With that in mind, let's now start the lesson of the day. So welcome back, traders. Let's delve deeper into the level 2 order book, discussing its intricacies to inform our trades. Intraday, we'll move beyond the buy and sell sides and focus on these advanced order types and interpretations. Let's get right to it. So first and foremost, there are 3 types of orders that can sit on the level 2. There are limit orders, stop orders, and iceberg orders. Limit orders are your run-of-the-mill orders. These are the bread and butter orders. They specify a price at which a trader is willing to buy or sell. The order book shows the depth, which is the volume at each price level. Stop orders, we know what those are if you trade intraday. These come into play only when the price reaches a certain level, which is known as the stop price. They can be 2 different types of stop orders. One can be stop loss orders as sell orders, right? Or you can have stop loss orders as buy orders. You can have stops that buy as well. Those are not that important for our purposes at the moment. What's really important are what we call iceberg orders, hidden buyers and sellers, people who don't want you to know the full size of their buy or sell order. And typically they really have a reason for that. So they only show a portion of the total size, masking the larger buying or selling interest that's hiding below the surface. In this case, when an iceberg is in play, you're looking for sudden jumps in volume after the iceberg orders are partially fulfilled, hinting at a larger order behind the scenes. One tip I can give you, and I'm just going to digress for a second from the lesson, is when you're sitting at a level, let's say 181.96 on Amazon, 97 on Amazon, and you can see right next to it, it says 4. So I know on NSB, the gateway NSB, there is 400 lots sitting at that price. Now, if we come into that price and there's the same amount of lots that is just showing there on the book, despite the fact on the tape, I keep seeing prints coming in at that price, that means to me that I know somebody's hiding their order below that and it's not reflecting on the book. What they can't hide it from, though, is the time and sales. It's always going to show up on the time and sales. And so that's, say it again?
Not hide.
You cannot hide from the time and sales, the Katina man says, and I have to agree with that wholeheartedly because on this, it will show. So if you don't see it reflected here, your eye needs to shift to the left immediately to know, is there an iceberg hanging out there? So that's what I want to say about icebergs. Now, moving on. Analyzing the order book dynamics. This is also very important as well. So, order book movement. Watch how the order book changes. Are the bids actively moving up the price ladder? Are they chasing after the offer? Or is there a stack of sell orders just above the current price, creating potential selling pressure zones? So what I mean to say with those 2 examples is buyer exuberance so great that the order that was sitting, say, at $150, does it keep moving up? Does that same size that was sitting at $150 keep moving up to $150.50 and then $151? Does it keep following up the size? If that is the case, then you know buyers are typically in control in that particular scenario because you see the size, that backstop, that support that you want, that big order to backstop you if the price stops, it keeps moving up with the order, with the price. So keep that in mind. Number 2, order cancellations here can be just as informative as active orders. So for example, if a large buy order is pulled off a certain level, it could signal waning buying interest, right? Conversely, multiple ask cancellations at a resistance level might suggest to you, for example, sellers are waiting for a better price to offload. So if you get into a certain level right there and then all of a sudden people are pulling their orders, well, this one is kind of nice and trying to say that there's no manipulation, that sellers are looking for a better price. But in reality, some people will bamboozle you. They'll quote stuff. So what they'll do is they'll put a big sell order at a level, you see it on the level 2, you're like, uh-oh, I don't want to take on this 10,000 lot sell order. And then all of a sudden the price comes close to it and that 10,000 sell order is gone. So, you know, that is spoofing. It's illegal, but people do it all the time. And here is sorry.
Meeting started.
Yeah, you got to interrupt.
No, it just started though.
Okay.
That's why I gasped.
Right.
Yeah, sorry,
No problem.
it just
Go for
began.
it.
Literally, he just started talking, guys.
All right, you is he? There's no video. It's just audio, huh?
Yeah, I like, yeah, it's just audio. Right now, there's just like the opening remarks, so I have nothing to say yet, but I just gasped because he literally just started
Sounds
talking.
good.
Don't worry.
All right, so interrupt me when you need to.
Yeah,
Okay?
I will.
Ram, remember what we did over here? I don't know if you want to do that, but I have it here. So if you want to leave the text of what this Catman and his crew are saying, you can do that if you want. Okay. I'll just leave it there for you, Ram. So these are basically screenshots of what the time and what the order book looks like, but I have kind of already shown you a live version of that. Thank you, Adair. So advanced order book patterns. Let's talk a little bit about these because these are interesting as well. There is something in technical analysis or in order book analysis called spooning. And this is interesting, right? So yeah, I know, Katina, man. What can I do? This occurs when buy orders are placed just below the current ask price and sell orders are placed just above the current bid price. It's suggesting a tight trading range and possibly price consolidation before breakout. So you see people straddle it. I guess that's another word you could use it. Straddling the price level from the top and from the bottom, and then it trades within a 2 or 3 penny range. Typically, when you get a breakout of the range, whether to the high side or the low side, it can be quite violent. So you always want to be on the lookout for spooning. And I mentioned this in the morning version of this lesson. You see this a lot during these buyout trades where there's umpteen amount of size above the ask and below the bid. But there's not just one type of advanced order book pattern. There's something called order book vacuum. When there's a significant absence of orders at a particular price level, it can indicate potential buying or selling zones, depending on the context. For example, a vacuum below support might indicate buying interest waiting to fill the gap. So for example, let me just show you over here. If this had been the case, and I'm not saying it is on Amazon, if the spread right now is 1 penny, we have 182 on the bid, 182.01 on the ask. What if there was a 25 penny spread there? Between the ask and the bid. And on some illiquid stocks, you'll absolutely see 25 pennies and even more. Well, what is that telling you? That's telling you the buyers are like, no, we're not so exuberant as to want to chase these sellers all the way up to where they are. I'd rather sit at 181.50, and if I can get printed there, all the better. And so when you see stuff like that, those create buying and selling vacuums where there's no orders above the ask for a certain price or below the bid for a certain price. You need to be apprised of that as well, because if you're going to get long, there's nobody to backstop the drop until 50 pennies south of you. So same thing goes short. If you get short at, say, 182 on Amazon, and obviously it's not going to be the case, and there's no seller to backstop you till 182.25, obviously that's not going to be the case, then you need to know there's going to be a 25 penny vacuum between your entry and where the biggest seller is sitting behind you. So that's very important, especially for illiquid stocks, not so much for these liquid stocks. And last but not least here, interpreting order book in context. This is really here for small cap gappers. If you're going to trade these small cap gappers and you want to have a look at them in the pre, what I would suggest to you for your pre-market analysis is to look at the order book before the market opens, especially for these small cap gappers gapping on news. Look for high bid volume at the ask. High bid volume at the ask price. It can signal to you strong buying pressure at the open. And then also look at the book subsequent to the news dropping, the post-news analysis. After the news breaks, see how the order book reacts. Does the buying volume dry up after the initial surge, or is there sustained buying pressure throughout the levels, even subsequent to the news release? So keep your eye on that, and I hope everybody prints.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just listening to this meeting. It's been odd so far. It's mostly just been a normal meeting, but some oddities include the fact that the meeting was called to order by their general counsel, which was kind of a weird look to me. I don't know if that's common. And then also, Ryan Cohen said, as my dad says, actions speak louder than words. And thank you, shareholders, for being here. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, just interesting stuff right now. We just set our highest volume candle to the downside. They're talking about how Deloitte's here, and they're going to be doing some voting and elections now. How do you turn on subtitles for this?
I downloaded this app.
Oh, okay.
So anything that runs on a video, it will just automatically transcribe it for me.
Okay,
yeah,
that's good to know.
Ram put it up there.
Oh, appreciate that.
Yeah, so anytime, look, if I switch screens.
Oh, it goes away, but then
it'll come back in a second. Oh. Yeah, give it a sec, Ram. It should come back. Okay, I guess not. Oh, this is what I know why. There it is. There it is. Now it'll do it. Put it back.
I like that.
There you go. Cool. See? Perfect. Okay.
Thank you, Sharif.
No problem.
But yeah, so this is what's going to happen. Conference introduction, which happened. Then we have meeting call to order, report of notice mailing, business of the meeting, presentation of inspector's report, meeting adjournment, and conference conclusion. I don't know what the difference between adjournment and conclusion yet will be, but we'll find out. So there we go. That's what's going on with GME. Give me some more news on this conference, please, GME. Right now, yeah, just some chatting is happening. I didn't interrupt while the lesson was happening because nothing major was happening. They were just kind of yapping. But yeah, right now they're introducing everyone, Mr. Chain, Mr. Ashel, which is an interesting spelling of that name. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how this goes. I also got short the SPY while this was going on, and I want to explain why this happened. I like doing my tape reads here. I noticed we were kind of getting a little bit weak here at 5:45. 30s, I think obviously this could change. Also, I didn't realize I got part filled here. Okay, that's good. So I still have a third of this position. I have no problem adding if we continue to kind of see this 545, 30 area. I'll scalp in and out, no qualms. I'd love to see this break below 545s. If I see anything in the book that is freaking me out, I will leave. But right now, we are just chilling here in the book, chilling like a villain, and hopefully collecting some little profits. I did give up some of the gains from earlier on. Yeah, like I said, the Nvidia trades were not the best. Shout out to anyone who's long Nvidia now. Great look for you guys. But this Tesla was kind of the bigger issue. Well, no, I'm still up on Tesla by a decent amount, but it was just me trying to go long here. Like I said, I have an issue with longs. I should be way scalper with my longs. Wasn't here. It's all good. If we keep projecting the 90 MA, I will hop back into that Cybertruck to the downside. There's a woman talking now. She's talking about corporate governance.
Okay, great. I just wanted to mention what the agenda. Did you mention the agenda?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay, fantastic. I want to hear what this presentation of the inspector's report is going to say. That's going to be interesting there. It seems like some sort of, I don't know, due diligence, disclosure, something like that, inspector's report. So I'll be all ears. I've got it in my ear too. I just have it muted at the moment. And then I guess when things really hit the fan, I'll put it and we'll start listening to it. Guys, newer highs here on the NQ. Give me a sec. Do I have this live? Yes, we just printed newer all-time highs on the NQ September contract. We're on our way to 20,001. So we already took 20,000. We talked about that big boy level. Again, this is the September contract. It is not the NDX. It is not the composite, right? So when you hear different levels for the NASDAQ, you need to apprise yourself of what I'm hearing. Is it the NDX, the futures? Is it the actual composite itself? Each one has different prices and different components. So yeah, 20,000, 92, 75, all-time highs on the NQ June contract, or September contract, excuse me. Tesla is on my purview here because for the first time, essentially all day since the bell, Tesla just broke the 20 exponential on the 5. It hadn't even broke the 10. Now it's broken the 10. It's broken the 20. It looks like it's on its way to 185. VWAP gives us plenty of room if you're gauging. If you're looking for VWAP here as your beak wetter for a short, well, it gives you plenty of room through that 185 break if it breaks 185 all the way down to VWAP, which is currently trading in the high 183.50. So interesting look right now. We might get a cross between the 10 and the 20, the down cross, sooner rather than later. Tesla looking to come off highs. Interesting look here for Apple. I mean, how long did this range trade manifest for on AAPL? Look at the lower end of this range, 216 and a quarter, essentially holding above the 20 period, but the 20 period only factored in later. Really, what it was a flip from resistance to support. So this consolidation area top that we put in on Apple between this candle and that candle, now we're using the top end of that range as support. And now we're coming back into 217. Every pop into 217 today has sold off. The best we've done on the day was that 217 and a third. This candle is wrong. We didn't get to 218. 218 is not the high of the day. It's essentially 217 and a third. We're on our way to 217 right now, so good movement here. Let's look at Apple, though, on the time and sales. The future's flying, and it just broke 21,000 for the first time ever in the history of all the North American markets, and I can say that confidently because no futures contract for the NQ has ever been this high. How high do we go before retracing? We're definitely using 20,000 now as support because now we're using 20,100 is behind us now on the way to 107s. I have no news midday to justify this move, but Meta's at day's high. Microsoft is at all-time high. Apple's breaking 217 again. Google has just woken up. It broke that 176 area resistance. And NVDA, well, it's not at day's high, but it's definitely off the lows. What a move up for the futures today. It looks like 2021 all over again.
Yeah,
Jeez.
this is what a look here for these markets. Tesla, I've noticed every time the future goes higher, Tesla is like, do I have to? I want to be an individual. I want to stand out. Like Elon Musk is my CEO, okay? I do not have to play by the rules. So Tesla's trying to get a little bit lower here. Bouncing right now at 185. You guys know me, there's a short around every quarter. No, all jokes aside though, we're still rejecting the 90 MA, as Sharif said there. So I think Tesla could still be spicy, but I don't want to hop in unless I see stuff I'm absolutely obsessed with. Right now, a little bit down in the day. Did lose on that SPY trade, but happy with how I executed it. I wanted to look for 40s. You broke above 40s. I got out. Right now, we're at 45.75. So very happy with where I got out on that. What else? Oh, yes. Okay. GME. There's someone, I put this in the chat. I was like, yeah. So basically what is happening right now is they're talking. There's some lady saying that it's basically, I guess, a proxy vote saying that they want there to be more transparency with regards to the makeup of the board. Like, some of it DEI related, but mostly just like what is the experience? How long have they been serving for? What's the tenure? Apparently there is a pretty nice pedigree for this in S&P 500 companies. But yeah, also it's pretty funny because I put this in here and then 1320 Wolf said, what is the purpose of transparent makeup? Hashtag Ulta, which I got a kick out of. But yeah, they want to see like who the board is composed of. But Kyle Burnett, 199 super chat, saying, bro, who needs news? Stocks only go up! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. If I detect a little bit of befuddlement there, I think it could be the bearishness. I'm also naturally bearish, Kyle Burnett, so I do feel your pain. I just got caught up a little bit in the spile, Burnett, so yeah. It's all good there. But yeah, always looking for new opportunities. GME also, these people apparently looking for new board opportunities in terms of how the board makeup is represented or whatever. So here we go.
Are they complaining about that?
No, it's just someone says that they want to vote for that. They said that there should be more transparency.
Oh, I see.
Like, what's the makeup of the board?
Oh, fantastic. It's probably time for me to turn that back on now, Dara, so I can hear as well. So we're going to unmute this tab so we can hear as well. There we go. Fantastic. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you say? You've got a tale of two worlds right here, Ram. You've got the GME and AMC at lows tanking, and then you flip to big tech, and then you see this. Almost all-time highs for a lot of names up here. So great look. Nothing to complain about. How to trade this, though, I don't like punching in at highs. It's not my style. So I'm looking for technical areas that I can look to say, okay, well, if it comes into this price, I'd like to buy it. On Microsoft, I'd like to buy it at 445.25. That's a consolidation area top. If it comes down into this area here, Softy's been awfully strong on the day. Great looking chart pattern. One measly 10-minute period here that it retraced, and then you saw it held the 10 all the way up. Meta is well off the bottoms. Meta's about to go. If Meta goes another buck and change, it's going to go green on the day. This name was well read today. Same thing with AMZN. This, I'm really lamenting not having done better on Amazon. We talked about the IB low being an area of good technical support, and you would have had a great winner. I would have had a great winner if I had taken that long, but I didn't. Apple's obviously having trouble with 217, even though it got a nice spike up there. I won't be convinced otherwise. 217 is a resistance level here on the day on Apple. Multiple topping tail candles initially through 217. Then you got another attempt at it at 10 to noon. And then we just got another break of 217, but alas, right below 217 again, showing you that the buyers and sellers are, battling with one another at those levels. Let's look at some of these small cap gappers. Oh my goodness. GameStop keeps going down. GameStop is now 14, almost 15% down on the day. It's just broke 25. Let's load up GameStop over here, see where we could find technical support. If any, let's zoom out. Where is the local area low? Right here. Okay, so 25 was a local area low. That takes us back to the 12th. Below that level, we're looking at 23. That is the low on the 11th. So that's a level I'd keep an eye on, obviously. But we've broken through the resistance level on the 13th and the resistance level on the 12th. Sorry, support level on the 13th, support level on the 12th, and now looking for that support level from the 11th to come in if we keep heading down.
Also, Ryan Cohen apparently has been elected along with some other people for the board of directors for GameStop. So that might be why we got a little bit of a baby pop there.
Yeah. He's got a cult following, obviously. People really like Ryan Cohen, obviously the guy from Chewy, and jumped into the GameStop bandwagon after the meme craze there to kind of turn around the company.
Yeah, he's chewing on some of those that meme excitement there. Shout out to Ryan Cohen. Also, yeah, I know we need to address this. Guys, yes, I know, I'm short Nvidia again. I want to clarify why. I like Nvidia. I have no issues with Nvidia. I was so excited when I was able to trade Nvidia again. The reason I'm short is purely technical, and here's why I got involved. So we had this rounded bottom. Yeah, yes, I see the rounded bottom. This is a scalp short. We're only taking this to 132s, and we're also going to be getting out the entirety of the position. My issue today has been unless there's a range where I'm kind of seeing a little bit of chop and churn, there's no reason for me to be keeping a piece for the dream. That is not my style of trading. It also sounds like this conference might be over because they're playing the weird easy listening rock again. So that was
so
blinking,
annoying.
you miss it. Interesting look there. But yeah, Nvidia, I'm trying to get 30 pennies here, risking also about 30 pennies. I want to see what we do in this wick here near 132.60. Let's see how this goes. NVDA or NVDA? We're going to find out in a couple seconds. Yeah, Gonzalo G, I apologize. I'm going short Nvidia here. But yeah, no, I seriously stand by this position, so I owe it to myself to try it, and that is why I am involved in this. And right now we're actually in the money, so let's see how this goes.
Nice. I hope you print, obviously, goes without saying. I'm just looking at the scanner here to see if there's any small cap gappers that are making moves, because quite frankly, really, aside from Polestar, I'm not impressed with any of them. I know GameStop and AMC are moving. I respect that. I'm keeping them up. They're on the side charts. You can see GameStop over here, AMC over here, but this is the one that I've got my eye on, okay? Because I don't mean any disrespect to AMC and GME, but I see this company growing right in front of my eyes, not closing down stores in front of my eyes. So Polestar absolutely held up beautifully off the 50 exponential on the 5, that's 78 pennies, and right back into 75. We're still well south of 89, and I definitely want to see what that trade at 1 does. Now, if you're wondering why Polestar is making the move that it's making, they're announcing the country, or the brand is expanding to 7 new countries, 7 new markets, obviously, they can sell their products to. We'll have to see how it trades, but definitely a good day for it, up about 24.5% better, it was definitely up a lot more than that. Bottoming tail hammer candle coming in on GameStop here. So the buyers could be coming in here. So wow, 24.22 LOD, and here we go to the high side on GameStop. This is one hell of a bullish candle here on GME. Now, could we get a V-shaped retracement, possibly back into 28.75 or general that area before we broke down 28? That's $3, almost no $2 and change, excuse me, from where we're currently trading into 28. But this is, I don't want to put too much stock into one candle, but this one candle alone printed 6 million shares. So volume confirmation, check. Candlestick pattern, check. Right? Hammer candle, bottoming tail, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the whole drill. Now we'll have to wait and see whether this one recovers. The trick with this one, though, is it's difficult to place your stop, at least for me. So where would I place my stop? There's no way I would give my stop to 24.22 to the bottom end of the candle. I just couldn't do that, right? Not risking properly, as well as the illiquidity on the name. Anyway, so where would you put your stop? I personally would have put my stop right here, 25.24, and it shows you how much I know because I would have been stopped out already. So such a tough name to trade. I personally don't know how to trade these ones that well. If it sets up technically, you know, like for example, if it comes into 28 again, where we know it was having trouble, maybe we'll get short. But yeah, GameStop definitely a bit of a tougher look here.
Yeah, I want to Killer Cam here, kind of summarizing it on GameStop. There was nothing really good or bad to move GME. Yeah, it was really just people talking about markets. That's kind of summarize what was going. I guess that's what we do every day, but they were talking about GameStop specifically. So interesting look there. Yeah, guys, I got out of Nvidia. Please just punch with that short. And I want to clarify, this is always going to be a scalp. You know what I mean? It's just going to be a scalp off that 132. Like I get Nvidia's on the upside, but I had my reason for getting involved. And one thing I've definitely learned from sitting on this desk, from Neil, from Sean, from Sharif, from everyone in the back as well, is if you like an idea, go after that idea. You owe it to yourself. I like the short. I had no reason to leave, so I stayed in. So I ended up taking out 22 pennies. I didn't like what we were doing on the book around that 132.10, so I got out 132.08. Please just punch. Also, I would like to say, there were words I was going to say. Yeah, voting. If you want to be a part of the green screen segment featuring Sharif, whose mustache is not a ticker still. I've seen people have gotten more chill about that, but just in case anyone would want to vote, that is not a ticker, but you know what it is? Microsoft, GME, AMC, Meta, Amazon, Google, any of those, any of the above. If you want to vote for those tickers, get involved. You have until 1:50, which means you have about 53 minutes left to do so. So if you want to vote and have the big kahunas talk about your stock, that's the way to do that.
Yeah, the only way. Otherwise, you don't get your say, and then Sean's not going to tell you about his winner on Nvidia, and Neil won't tell you. Nvidia, exactly, right? So shout out to everybody there. I hope you guys vote, and you can only vote one time, so choose wisely for the name that you want to vote. All right, let's have a look here. GameStop still not off my radar for a possible trade. But Cootie Love, you got to put a space, my man, between the join, the word join, and the $sign. Otherwise, it won't trigger with Streamlabs. Bora Hut, the Stash Nation, baby. Shout out to you, Bora Hut. But yeah, Cootie Love, retype that bad boy with a space between the join and the $sign there. GameStop is still not off my watch at this level because of all these bottoming tail candles. This looks awfully bullish here. I mean, if it retraces to the high side and starts printing candles to make a new high, you know, we may have to get involved here. So I'm going to pull up a couple of different names over here. So one, we're going to pull up GME on this trading screen, and then we're going to pull up Polestar on this trading screen. They're both on New York, I believe. No, Polestar is NASDAQ, my mistake.
Always messes with me because it's PSNY that's Q, isn't
right?
That
Yeah, I know. That's actually a good point. 85 pennies seems to be a bit of a tough area here for Polestar, so I'll keep my eye on that. But GameStop, man, it keeps retracing. Oh, if this can't, well, we know already the candle at 1250, that hammer candle, that already closed green. The current candle is also green, but it hasn't closed. It's got another minute or so to close here. If that closes green, you'll have two bottoming tail green candles at the bottom end of a trough. I mean, just dying to get in at these levels, but just not my kind of trade. But yeah, I'm watching AMC, very similar looks, bottoming tail candles into 4 3/4 as it wants to curl right back up. So yeah, GameStop moving now, subsequent to the shareholder meeting. Did you hear anything really that kind of got your attention, or was it just, would you call it a nothing burger?
It was a nothing burger. It was, yeah, it wasn't like a big cheeseburger, a big, smash burger, bacon burger. It was pretty much a nothing burger. Unlike the Disney shareholder meeting, which, like, you guys know I was all over, with Nelson Peltz having his saucy, sayings and refusing to kind of only use the allotted time he had.
Really?
Yeah, he kept talking. They're like, Nelson, he's like, they're like, Nelson.
Why did you keep?
So yeah, so Trian, yeah, he did not want to let it be, Anne. So he kept talking there, but yeah, this was this was a lot more of a chill meeting than that. There were no funny Nelson Peltz related antics. Shout out to Nelson's son-in-law, Brooklyn Beckham. But yeah, because it's my favorite fun fact ever. Yeah, no, nothing going on there. Really excited with the meeting.
All right, okay, I put in a dip trade at 25 in case this wicks down again on GameStop. I'm probably going to remove this order, but I left it there anyway. The candle that just closed at 1 o'clock is also green, not as hammerish as the prior candle, but green, a green doji nonetheless, with a higher low and a higher high. I'm talking about the 5-minute chart on GameStop. So even though there's a whole lot of volatility, and that's to be expected, this candle's green, this candle's green, and this candle's green, each with successively higher highs and higher lows. Does that mean anything to you? It means something to me, even though it's so wide-ranging, but you had to expect that. There was a lot of, interest in this name, and subsequent to the meeting being done, volatility was likely to come in, and that's exactly what we saw. So I'm waiting here till we can get some less volatile candles. You'll see the same, similar look, on AMC as you're seeing on GME, just obviously at different price levels. By the way, I want to mention that whoever was trading AMC again on Friday pushed it down by 1 penny so that it closed at $4.99. That is yet another day AMC could not close above 5. That has been a thing for a while now. 5 has been an elusive level on a closing basis for AMC. You see like the outlying days, sometimes it'll close above 5, but most days it won't. Look how consolidative it's become ever since those 2 outlying days. I guess to be expected because the news really here is about GameStop, not AMC. So kind of moving in sympathy and definitely still stuck within its own. So good luck for both those names. Small cap gappers, unless your name is Polestar, there's really nothing on my radar.
Yeah, not much there. So yeah, this is okay. Tesla. So I got short 185. That was not the vibe. What I should have done was, if I'd initially gotten short what I wanted, which is at 185.19, this probably would have been fine. Alas, it wasn't. I was a little bit overzealous. I was watching for this into 40s, into getting at around 45s, which is fine. It is what it is. A little bit disappointed on myself. I was not scalping enough. Still up on Tesla, but not by much. And I'm down on the day. So I think this is, it always sucks when you give up gains. It's going to be really honest here because we're all about honesty. But you know what else? The Freedom and Wealth podcast talked a lot about resilience. So you got to, when things hit you, to quote the Big Sean song from 2017, bounce back.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what you got to do. When the profits go down, bounce back. So we're going to try to be like Big Sean here, trying to make some trades. And the thing is, like, you're going to have up days and down days. But what happens is how you react to it. You just got to keep coming. I was not scalping enough today. This Tesla trade was something I felt kind of weird at the beginning. So it's like, Adara, why are you getting in? Why do you feel the need to be involved? Questions I should have asked myself before getting involved. But it's all good. We can reflect now and grow and learn. Yeah, gimme, though, giving me, not FOMO, but that's an interesting look there for sure on GameStop. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. I put up my order on 25. And just to build on your point, guys, I really want to talk about some of the things that Sean and Brendo talked about on the podcast. Again, they're not talking trading. We're not talking about entries. We're not talking about how much money we made on the week. No, what we're talking about the right mindset. The Katina Man and Brendo were talking about success in entrepreneurship, about believing in oneself, developing key traits like superiority, impulse control, consistency, dedication, time management. Learning from successful examples. They talked about Elon Musk. They talked about Kathy Woods. They talked about balancing both hard skills and soft skills, like technical abilities and interpersonal skills. I mean, I had never worked in an office until I came into here. I had no idea if I was going to be able to get along with people. I mean, I didn't know. Sure, I got along with friends, but yeah, well, it's not bad. You know what I mean? So all these things that you take for granted, you don't really know if you're going to be able to execute. And they talk about a lot of them. They talk about outsourcing and leveraging the strengths of others in your kind of circle to help you, proceed or to become better yourself. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite pods, and it should be yours as well. A lot of effort is being made into it. If you like that kind of thing, if you like talking about that kind of thing, you're going to listen to the Freedom and Wealth podcast. All right. Keeping an eye here on GameStop, it came down in a 25 and a fifth. And this area was the area where it closed above. I'm sitting at 25.05 looking for a dip trade. I got to tell you, I'm going to be super, super tight with this one. If I do get filled, it's going to be a scalp. And here we go, 25.13. This is going to have to hold 24. I'm going to say 92. I mean, I really don't have I have to give it to 24.20, and I'm not doing that. So we're going to have to sit 24.92, and it looks like I'm going to get filled real soon here, 24, and we'll put 80 for the remaining outs there if we do get filled. So we're going to have to wait till we get filled, till we send off that order, but I'm looking for a 25 hold here on GameStop Adara.
Whoop, Sharif, get that game started.
Oh,
Start that
nice.
game. Yeah, so shout out to Sharif there on that. My weird puns aside, as always, we hope you print. Nvidia, I'd love to say hope you print in Nvidia, but Nvidia would have to kind of move first. Yeah, guys, I know I'm short Nvidia again. But seriously, we had a lower high. I saw this and I was like, Adara, you got to get involved. So I did. I was looking to get out half the position at 131.60s. Not sure if I'm going to get that. We're about 10 pennies away from that right now. So Nvidia, if you want to show me that you've got some, mojo in you, I'd love to see that. Right now, we're going to get a half at 73s, just because, I see stuff on the book. I have to respect that. I like that we broke below the 90 EMA. Right now, though, we're trying to climb back above, which obviously not the vibe. I just have not been trusting myself enough today. I've not been trusting my read enough on the book. There was a time when I was in a Tesla long that I felt really heebie-jeebie about it, and I should have gotten out right there. And yet, for some reason, I didn't. So it's really just about, being more open. That's when I find I trade the best, is when I'm way less focused on P&L and, I want to get this profit target, and more just what do I like? What looks nice? What looks interesting? That's just definitely needs to be more the vibe. Drink some water. I mean, I'm flat on this right now. There's also I am still in this position. I'm still involved at 131.93 or 95, 131.95, still involved. Really though, it's just it's about trying to trust yourself more, whatever your trading style is, as Sean always says. You've spent time developing a style, so trade your book, trade your style, trust what you do. And I think what I do are probably these scalp soft levels. That's what I feel the most comfortable in, so I owe it to myself to trade that way. We are out of NVDA, so please just punch with that. Like I said, still down in the day after some snafus, mostly just with not trusting myself on Tesla. But you got to keep on going. Not to digress too much, but yeah, the Tesla initially went well, then it didn't go as well, but you still have to take trades you like, but if you don't like a trade, then why are you doing it? That was the big thing I had to ask myself on TSLA. Simon TG, what's interesting is Shop going back up. Let's take a look at Shopify. Yeah, Shopify, we saw that one had a bit of it stopified last week. It's a great look. I didn't see any catalyst on this last week. We had that upgrade on Friday. It had that big move up, then it fell down. Shout out to Obi and Neil for taking that, sorry guys, tired, for taking that short there at the end of the day, yesterday in the afternoon show not yesterday, Friday. Wow. On Shopify. It's a nice look there. Right now, they're trying to recover. We did run into a bit of issues initially at the 65.30 level. Once we had that chop and turn and that last push down here, nice move back up here for Shopify. Great recovery. Let's look at this daily chart to see how the Shopify is looking here. Oh, okay. This is so fascinating to me. Look at the $68 level. Support. Then there's that resistance that's shouted again to that short there that Neil and Obi had. But yeah, this daily chart seems to be ruling the roost over here on Shopify. Shopify does not want 68 quite yet. It does not want any of that smoke. So this support resistance flip-flop at 68 on the daily chart could be very, very clear. Let's see how this goes. This is an interesting look here for Shopify. But also, too, it's basically time for our lesson of the day. Before we get to that, though, you only have 40 minutes, only the length of a drama episode of television before streaming, to vote for this stock. So how do you do that? Whatever stock you like, a ticker you like, think about it really quickly, make a wish, and then go right in the chat. Wow, right now, exclamation point, join, space, $, Apple, Tesla, Google, Nvidia, GME, AMC, Shop, I don't know, whatever ticker you like, you go in there right now. If you get enough votes, as Sharif mentioned, you can do some campaigning, you can raise some funds there in the chat, get all your buddies there working with you, and if you campaign hard enough, maybe your stock will be included in our little list. That is we're gonna chug some coffee over here, and then we'll do the lesson of the day.
Yeah.
How was the GameStop?
I got in and I got out immediately. So obviously the stop there was not appropriate. That was not the appropriate level for the stop, because as quickly as I was in, as quickly as I was out, that was really a mistake on my part for not being alive to the liquidity or the volatility, excuse me, of this name. However, we do have on the 1 minute chart, a higher low. I don't want to call this a double bottom. It's not a double bottom, but it's a higher low. Now, what I'm all eyes on is 26. 2 times we made our way into 26 subsequent to the meeting being over, and 2 times we rejected a bit of a, you call it double top at 26, a bit of an area there where there was a liquidity grab. You could see that. Now, if we get prints on a closing basis above 26, I'm going long GameStop, and I'm going to give it room. So this one will actually be a breakout trade below VWAP or not. I don't think GameStop, really adheres to any of these rules. This is a meme stock, and they march to the beat of their own drum kind of thing. So here we go. 50s showing up right now. There's definitely a seller at 50s here on GameStop. Let's see if we can break some decent size. It's still rejecting off that 50 area. And then once we break 50, I'm all eyes on 26. And I'm unsure how I'm going to enter this trade, but I am very interested in $26 as an area of either a breakout area or rejection area. I don't have shorts on GameStop. I'm sure I can get them if I really want to, but I'm thinking more of a retracement here. Let's watch. It's down 11.5%. Likely sell the news event, you know what I mean, with this whole meeting, but the technicals are telling me higher low with a 26 top. So if we get above 26 and we have a higher low, I don't care if sell the news or not. We're going to take this the way we've been trained how. So 26, I'm looking for a break. Wow. That's just the bamboozlement on this. It's going to halt down $1 like that. Wow. That was nuts. So that just was at 25.56, and in 1 second, it dropped to 24.70. That was intense, and now it might halt at this level. No, false halt. Continues to go down more, and then got bought right back up. Okay, that's it. I don't know how to trade this.
Your game is stopped?
Yeah, I don't know how to trade this. I have no idea what this thing wants to do. It's compressing, right? Higher lows, lower highs. But other than that, I really have no idea how to trade this. This is not my kind of cup of tea. I mean, I'm just going to get cut up umpteen amount of times trying to take this. Even if I take it above 26, what's not to say that it won't do the same thing it just did? Breaks above 26 by 15 pennies, drags me in, and tanks. Nah, that ain't it for me. All right, Polestar though. Polestar looking awfully good right now. It's almost at day's highs. It just got into 888 and a third high a day. This double top that we put in, 89 pennies, we're really close. What a V-shaped retracement off the 50 period exponential on the 5 PSNY. This might be a multiple day mover. This is not a stock that's around for a good time, not a long time. It's sub $1, but it's a legitimate company. So if this is the move we're getting today, I want to watch this for a multi-day play, possibly. 89 pennies high a day on Polestar right now, Dara.
Yeah, Polestar definitely not seeing the Death Star right now. Nice potential continued movement up there. They have a store at Yorkdale, do they not?
They do.
Yeah, they do.
That's where I saw them yesterday.
Oh, I don't go to Yorkdale enough.
Not Yorkdale. Shops on Don Mills. Yeah,
You don't want to Yorkdale though, right? Oh no.
Lucid.
Oh, that's
VinFast and Tesla.
Yeah, VinFast might have been what I was
I
thinking.
saw a VinFast on the road yesterday, VF8.
How do they look on the road? I've never seen one in the
I like the VF9 better than the VF8, but it's also $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more expensive.
Yeah, you might Vin slow down on those prices, I guess. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice look there for VinFast, VFS. Yeah. But let's talk as well about, I don't have a good transition for this, the lesson of the day. So let's make a VinFast move here into the lesson of the day. So let's delve deeper into the level 2 order book and discuss its intricacies to inform our small cap news-driven intraday plays. We're going to move beyond the buy and sell sides and focus on some advanced order type interpretations. So not to say this is not for the faint of heart, but if you do want to go look at some past lessons here, we do have, I don't know if we've done past lessons on order books, but I think we definitely discussed them at some point. Also, you can look at them. If you Google order books, you can do that quick research there to be part of this lesson. We are going to get a little bit more in depth here with this lesson. let's see how this goes. Let's talk about dissecting these order types to start. So for one, you've got limit orders. These are going to be basically just bread and butter basic orders specifying a price at which the trader is willing to buy or sell. And the order book is going to show the depth or the volume of these at each price. So how many orders do we have at this price? How many at that price to show the extent of the interest at these certain levels. Let's look at stop orders as well, because these are going to come into play only when the price reaches a certain level or a stop price. So they can either be stop loss orders or sell orders, which are priced below the market price to limit losses if you see a sharp drop in the price, or stop market orders, which are buy or sell orders that happen once the stop price is triggered. These orders are going to become market orders executed at the best available price. Also, did you see what D. Westermeyer just tagged you in the chat? Because it's one of my favorite puns I've ever heard.
Yeah, every move up on GameStop, stonk is a dead cat bounce. Yes, D. Westermeyer.
That's like right in my alley.
Yes, I'm going to have to give him the awesome for that because that's actually really good.
Yeah, or dead kitty bounce.
I wanted to mention one thing quickly that I misspoke about, and it really has something to do with level 2 that Neil wrote in the chat, and something that I misspoke about on GameStop. So can you show my screen for a second? Ram, thank you. Neil wrote, because GME is SSR, when the offer stacks up, it isn't a halt. It's just that aggressive short seller orders are waiting for an uptick. Yes, I didn't have eyes on the fact that it was SSR. I should have known based on the fact that it was down over 10%. Thank you, Neil, for pointing that out.
Yeah, thank you, Neil, for that. Much appreciated there, because that's something worth noting as well, the SSR. But also worth noting are iceberg orders. So these are going to only show a portion of the total sides. They mask larger buying, selling interests. It's kind of like hiding in plain sight. It's a masquerade ball. You have the little mask on. It's like, oh, is this like Joe from down the street? No, it's a giant market order. That analogy worked better in my head. But so these are basically going to be these secret orders hiding below the surface. You want to look for sudden jumps in volume after iceberg orders are partially fulfilled, because that gets into the larger order behind the scenes, something deeper and darker below the surface. So let's see what happens here. Also, thank you, Darwin, for putting this in the chat. Some news with Tesla. I need to look into this to double check this, but thank you, Darwin, for putting this in there, saying that apparently there's going to be the $7,500 federal EV tax credit. According to Tesla, I guess Tesla's saying this, that the new Model 3 long range qualifies for the full federal EV credit. I'm going to have to look into that. Thank you, Darwin, for sharing that with us over here. So let's look at so the next part of this lesson, analyzing order book dynamics. So order book movement, you're going to always watch to see how the order book changes. Do you have any bids actively moving up the price ladder or chasing the offer? Or do you have a stack of sell orders just above the current price, creating a potential selling pressure zone? Basically, is there anything in the movement or the numbers of what you're seeing in the book to indicate cause for concern, alarm, or some potential bamboozlement? Now, also, what about order cancellations? Because cancellations should be just as informative as active orders. If you see a large buy order pulled, that could signal waning buyer interest. The buyer's getting kind of bored. That could be a change in sentiment. And also, conversely, multiple ask cancellations at a resistance level could suggest that sellers are waiting for a better price to offload. So you can really get a nice sense of sentiment and what these participants are looking at or looking for if you look at the order book. Here's some examples of order books that I found online here. So it really shows, again, the different gateways, which are worth noting. You know how sometimes if you go to a stadium, it'll be like your ticket is like B12, B14, whatever. Well, the market has gateways too, different ways that you can enter with your ticket so you don't get bamboozled by everyone else in line and you have your own way to enter. That is what the order book is. What about advanced order book patterns? Well, one of them is going to be called spooning. It's going to occur when buy orders are placed just below the current ask price and sell orders are placed just above the current bid price. And this is just tighter trading, so the orders are all spooned together, like you know how you line up all your spoons in your dishwasher, like cup to cup to cup. I don't know, but it looks like that, but with orders and not spoons. And it's just some tighter trading and some potential price consolidation before a breakout. So Tesla, speaking of breakouts, hi Tesla, I guess that one looking to make a new high of day here. Some other advanced order patterns here are order book vacuums. So if you have a significant absence of orders at a particular price level, it can show that there's some potential buying or selling zones happening here, depending on the context. So for example, a vacuum below support could indicate some buying interest waiting to fill the gap. And if you have a vacuum above support, maybe there's some selling interest going on there as well, or above resistance. So how do you interpret order books in context? So you want maybe some pre-market analysis. Shout out to Neil talking about pre-market analysis in his lesson of the day, how you can look at and find specific levels to play off either direction.
I just want to point out that 218 has been breached now on Apple. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
It was a level that was we know that was a high day earlier. Even though it was a quick wick, it just got breached. Just want to point that out. Shout out to Katina, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I guess the buyers are getting the Steve Jobs done over there. Tim Cook and the.
Well, they're cooking already, Adara. They're cooking.
Tim cooking. Okay. But yeah, so for pre-market analysis, you might want to analyze the order book before the market opens, especially if you've got a stock gapping up on news. And a high bid volume at the ask price can signal strong buying pressure at the open. So you see, Neil and Sean will always take those, or not always, but they'll often take those trades right off the open. It's like you have to find a way. How are you seeing sentiment? Ordering the order book, right? And of course, practice always makes perfect. It's an art, not a science. So you want to take your time, but I do want to shout out those right at the open trades can be very tricky. And a lot of that is because what are you seeing in the sentiment in the order book? What about post-news analysis? So after you've got a news break, see how the order book reacts. Is there a whole bunch of frenzied selling or buying? How are things looking? Is there a lot of interest, or are buyers and sellers kind of meh? Well, you're going to have to wait and find out. You want to see how the order book reacts, and if you see strong volume, dry up after initial surge, do you have sustained buying pressure that can show you if this is news or just news? So worth noting there, you want to see those sustained moves, and you also, always want to practice, because practice makes perfect. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice.
All right. Thank you for that, Adara. Fantastic explanation there. As we mentioned while Adara was doing the lesson, we did breach 218, but as quickly as we did breach it, I hope nobody took that breakout trade, because you're about 60 pennies out of the money right now, as it does breach 218 and then make its way all the way back down to 217 and change. But look, I would say to you, there's a good level of support at 217 and a quarter in and around this area here, because it's a consolidation area top that we couldn't breach for whatever reason earlier in the day. So let's see if it holds up at 217 and a quarter, that general area there on AAPL. But a great move for it on the day, well above 2% on the day. Now, the other Mag 7 name that is continuing to do things and do things well is Tesla. And I got to tell you, I was very surprised that we broke this 186.50. I thought that would have been kind of the level on the day. I still am suspicious that we close above 186.50. That was the top that we put in on Friday, and it looked like one hell of a U pattern that was shaping up there, where we kind of put in that rounded bottom and retrace right back into that key air neckline resistance area. So 187 and a quarter right now is the look on Tesla, and this was a bamboozler. I mean, like this one right here, like what is this candle? Why did this candle stop at 184.50? I mean, let me look at multiple time frames here. Am I missing something on another time frame? Maybe I need to be trading Tesla not on this. Okay, it looks like it held up the 10 on the 15. Look, to me, I'm not trading it on the 15, I guess. I need more screens. Anyway, so Tesla just printed day's high. Sorry, that whole long spiel. 187 and a quarter high of day on Tesla. It's not the only one that's at high day, though. Goggles as well printed another high day, 177.52. It's at high days as we speak. GOOGL. I can't believe Meta actually went green on the day. Meta was 496.01. Now it's 504.78. It's almost $10 off the bottom. And that was one hell of a move that it went down. It gapped down already on the day. Then the bell came and it tanked even more. That's how strong this market is. 505 incoming, it looks like on Meta. 504.78 right now. It also printed high a day. Well off the high days on Amazon. Amazon's definitely one of the weaker ones on the day. Softy, though, had this trade earlier on the soft one at 444. Seems like an eternity ago, because that was almost $4 ago now that we had that trade on Softy. It's at 447 and 3/4. Every uptick here and a new high a day is a new all-time high on Microsoft. It's never been this high. It keeps growing. It got the nod today from Wedbush. It got the nod from Big Danny Ives. And as you can see, this is how much he's respected on these markets lately. Kind of like Kathy Wood in 2020 and 2021. Remember that? When Kathy was like the rock star? Feel like Danny Ives is kind of that right now. Him and like Tom Lee. Yeah, big time respect for those two guys on Wall Street right now. So MSFT at day's highs. Nothing else to say about that. Definitely Nvidia taking the day off. Well off highs. It was, it got, the IB high was the highest high of the day, 133 and 3/4. Having trouble with 132.5 intraday here on NVDA. Let's flip some of these small cap gappers, see what GameStop did, because we were looking at that earlier. Yeah, GameStop printing, continuing to print lower lows, lower highs. This 24 and a fifth was the area low that we got to subsequent to the meeting ending. Do we hold up around here? I mean, there is price action resistance here, sorry, support, but I mean, we're still printing at day's low, so I guess if you get in here, you'd have a tight stop. To me, it's not for me. Hey, Davis, did you get the nod from Bill? It's Big Kyle. Bill Kyle Burdett. That's funny. I like that. I like that. Big Kyle, I don't know how Big Kyle feels about Microsoft. You'll have to ask him. Big Kyle and I have never talked about Microsoft. But I don't know. I think he just wants to see the world burn, baby. He just wants those markets coming down. No, I'm not putting words in Big Kyle's mouth. Great dude. Goes without saying there. Let's see what else we are talking about here. Pass overdose. I'm long Meta 497th August contracts 550 target holding trend. Shout out to you, man. I think you had something once Meta took 500 again, and I think that it's above 500 now. Yeah, pack your patience. I hope you print, and goes without saying. GME halted, people are saying. No, it's not, my man. I'm looking at it right now, as you can see. Time and sales, the book moving. Ram. I'm not even being rude. I'm just telling him it's not halting. Ram. By the way, if you guys, I know Ram's alone today, guys. The Chilean nightmare's off, and so Ram's on the ones and twos on her own, and she's killing it as she always does. Ram always kills it, and you guys can also kill it today too. Make sure you have your say every day on the afternoon rundown. Get into the chat right now and vote. I saw a whole lot of people voting earlier, guys, and if you don't vote, you don't have your say. I like how, there we go. Where was the last time people voted here? I just got to call out some people for voting. Yes, Austin H. voted for Adobe. He wants to see what that Anu View voted for Apple. I like that. What's it? MGT wants HIMS. He wants to talk about HIMS. Monty G, he wants to talk about the SPY. Gurkan, he wants to talk about EQIX. Get into the chat right now. Have your say every day. The Katina man is locked in. He's ready to look at your tickers.
Yeah, whatever ticker scratches your itch, talk about it. Also, I got short Nvidia again, happy with this trade. The plan for this initially, which was only partially successful, was basically, I wanted into 132s. I did not want to overstay my welcome. That's what's gotten me burned in some trades early today, Nvidia and Tesla. So I wanted to be cognizant, also a bit the SPY. So I wanted to be cognizant of that. Basically, the plan for this was get involved 132.30. That worked. And then just continue to scrape here 132.20s. And like take 10 pennies every couple seconds. Unfortunately, basically, once we got into 132.20s, we kind of didn't look back. So that was a little bit unfortunate for my initial plan. But hey, I was like, you know what, Adara? See what we do heading into 132s. Got it at 132.06s, took 24 pennies. Please does dang punch to combine a Sharifism and one that I use sometimes. So let's see how this goes. Also, I want to look at Adobe, because Adobe was rangy last week. I did miss the opportunity to trade that range. But today, Adobe kind of an interesting look as well. Sort of a combo of a V-shaped retracement and a bit of a rounded bottom, continuing to bounce off the 90 MA after finding a nice bottom with some wicks to back it up here around 509. So nice look here. If you got long Adobe 509, you're a cool $9 in the money. So shout out to you though, $9 club. Interesting look here for ADBE. So yeah, nice look for Adobe. We do have Nvidia breaking lower out of the short. You know, you have to do what you have to do. Like I said, I found that if I try to hold things for moves, that's when I make really questionable decisions. So I've been trying to do that a little bit less. Still down on the day. You know, I did end up giving up some of the gains in Tesla, which was unfortunate, but you have to take trades you like, regardless how they turn out. So happy. The only one trade I'm kind of disappointed in, and that was one of the times I got involved in Tesla, but generally happy with the decisions made. In Tesla, I'm actually still positive on. It's just, you know, you want to make sure you're making decisions that make sense. IWM, initially I did want to take this short, but I felt like it might be a little bit it wasn't IW meticulous enough, I thought. That being said, had I taken this pseudo-topping tail rejection of 199.40 and just scalps it would have worked out. If we keep seeing lower highs here, specifically break below the 90 MA, the short could get a little bit spicy.
Man, I just don't know what the hell to do here, because everything is just at highs. I look at Meta. I can't believe this. We're going to hit 506 on Meta. That's $10 off the bottom. What a retracement. And crazy, you know what, was thinking about going short at the 50 over. Remember that story? We were yapping about how the IB high rejected off the 50, this candle at 10:30 rejected off the 50, and then we were going to get short right at this candle at a quarter after 11. We were thinking about shorting. The GameStop's up. Okay, so let's pull up that. The Katina man says GameStop's curling back up there off the low. So the low right now on GameStop is that $23.79 up into 24.5. A nice move off the bottom there. Still below the 10 period though. Keep your eye on that 25.12. There's a 10 period there. It's been rejecting off the 10 period all morning. Well, not all morning. I guess maybe since the meeting started. This is when the meeting started there. It started around 12:30, right?
Basically,
yeah.
At 12:30.
Yeah, and so when you can see the 12:30 candle, that's really kind of the move that started this whole thing down. So true to form, we do sell the news kind of thing here. You got to watch out for that sell the news thing. Sometimes it'll bamboozle you. But anyway, yeah, great recovery back into 24.5, still south of 25 on GME. Polestar well above that volume weighted average price, still in 85 penny territory, but it did reject off the high. It was trying to break through 89 pennies. It got up to 88 and change, a bit of a double top right now, but I wouldn't be looking for a double top here. I think this is likely going to be a sustained move. It's just my guess, and that's all that it is. It's a guess. Yeah, as you can see, the futures, all-time highs, 20,167. We're printing 59s as we speak right now. Still very much at day's highs on the futures. Day's highs on a lot of these Mag 7 names. Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple, Tesla. They are all literally at day's highs. Really the only exception here is the monster Nvidia for a change. It's not the one leading the market. It's actually flat on the day, and we're not done the day. That's what's funny, is this thing could like squeeze into the later part of the day as, you know, market on close orders or whoever wants to come in and buy up this monster. Topping tail candle right now at Meta on 506.5. So I'm not going to get short anything here, but something to note there on Meta, the topping tail into that 506-ish area. 448 coming in here on Softy. I think we broke that level. Wow. Another move up for Softy. Another move up for gold. We're going to hit 20,200 today, Katina, man. I got to be honest with you. It's 20,170. It's 20,180. The market is all gas. No breaks right now. We were at 19.9 at the low. We're going to hit 20,002 at the high. That's a 300-point move on the market. There was no CPI today. There was no FOMC. There wasn't even jobs. And the market is moving up into the dang right, and it's taking all the Mag 7 names with it. Apple right back above. Go GameStop, says the Katina man, but Apple's right back into not all-time highs. That's wrong. I was about to say all-time, but 220 is all-time. GameStop is coming into that $25 area, Katina man, but I would say I'm all eyes on that 10 period. I want to see if we break the 10 period on a closing basis. It's a whole different ball of wax here, or whatever other item you want to talk about on GameStop.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, you know, IW. I couldn't think of it where that starts with M. I'm disappointed in myself for this IWM. Basically got short. I know I said I was going to wait here, but I did like that we had this kind of chop and turn. I said, you know, risk into 60s is fine. I had the planned addition there at 199.51s. Initially wouldn't give me that, so I was like, cool, great look. Then we push above 60s, I get out. Now we can't break above 60s, so I'm like, okay, IWM could have told me that before I got out. But it's all good. You try, you learn. Things don't always work out. Not proud with some of the trades today, later today. I think it's a little bit, you know, been tired brain speaking, which is not the best, because Sharif has seen me when I get tired. It is like not coherent, so good times. But we're, you know, slightly down in the day still, but again, always trying to find opportunities that work. There are some trades I'm proud of. I think it was getting a little bit messy later in the day because some things didn't work out that made for some questionable trades. And again, not actively displeased as Punch with anything, but there are some trades that have me going grr a little bit. But this Nvidia, this continued rejection for Nvidia, this inability to break above 132.30, Nvidia, if you keep doing this, I will keep shorting you. That is a promise and a threat. I should have been keeping an eye on you, Nvidia. Like, come on there. So I'm going to stop talking to a stock and instead just keep my eye on a stock. Oh, thank you, Aaron Scott Matthews, saying IWMAs. Well, I wasn't. I guess I was amazed at how much the trade was bad. But thank you either way, Aaron Scott Matthews. I have another one now to use. Fonzie saying shorts be like, and then the emoji where they have the sick head. So I do agree with that. As someone who honestly, I have a really hard time trading long successfully, and that's what got me cut off on Tesla a few times. These days are kind of harder for me, so I just should be more cognizant of that. Not feel pressure to take trades. It is all good though in the hood. And I want to shout out Anjan for the €2.5 euros. Thank you. Super chat. Accenture and HPE earnings this week. HPE not this week. HPE, those are earnings from a couple weeks ago. But I know ACN has earnings because I was talking about that in the week ahead. ACN could get a little bit interesting. They had a bit of a wipeout on their last report. It was not the vibe. It's today actually intraday volume not. Almost a chair pushback. I like this intraday chart actually. This 286.20. We had this top and churn, flew to the downside, then came back up, rejected. Now we're trying to bounce off the 90 EMA. 286.20 could be interesting here on the intraday. Let's take a look at the daily chart. See how we do. Okay. Again, not a pushback, but we got pretty close. This chart's weak. This is a very weak chart. We have lower highs and we have a flat bottom here at 281. So let's see what we do. This is a pretty nasty, gross, whatever word you want to use, tail here in the intraday. This 90 EMA rejection with this wick here. And okay. Yeah, I have to say, Accenture, I would have to say, I would say Discenture. I would say this is a chart that I do not have a lot of positive thoughts for just in terms of its technicals. Let's see if they can improve the earnings, turn it out here, because right now, this chart looks like it should be flipped around to the upside. Not a great look, in my opinion.
All right. We had Fed's Williams speaking at 12 and Fed's Harker dropping hot lines at 1. I'm going to read you what Harker said. I'm not saying that they were the cause of the market moving up, but the timing seems interesting here. Here it is. Let's start with it. Fed Harker, 1 interest rate cut this year is my base ram. And he goes on to talk about it. That's vis-a-vis Reuters. Then goes on to say, Fed's Harker says, if my economic forecast plays out, I think 1 rate cut would be appropriate by year's end. 2 rate cuts or none also quite possible. Depends on date. More data is essential to come to a decision on rate cuts given choppiness so far this year. Over the ensuing months, I will continue to closely monitor data on inflation, labor markets, and economic activity. All right. Then he goes on to say, Fed's Harker says keeping rates where they are for a bit longer will help get inflation down and mitigate upside risks. Monetary policy remains positioned in restrictive territory. Latest inflation data quite promising. Okay. But falls short of confidence needed. Has not quite dissipated. Uncertainty, long-term stubbornness of shelter inflation remains a concern, as does service sector inflation. Now, I want to talk a little bit about shelter inflation because there seems to be this growing body of discontent amongst analysts about how shelter inflation is calculated. A lot of analysts are saying that it's almost lagging 12 months, while some analysts are saying that it's indicative of current prices. So I guess you'll have to take your side of the pick there. But one thing that is for certain is that this market just broke 20,200. We just broke. We are up over 300 points off the bottom. Off the close, we're up 258 points on the new NQ September contract, clearing that 200-point level by 5 points. Softies at all-time highs. Goggles is at days highs. So is Tesla, Apple, and Amazon, and Meta. Everything except Nvidia at days high right now in Mag 7 world. Let's go and see what the other big names are doing. I'm talking about some of the cybersecurity names. Okay, well, they seem to be they have like a high beta. No, not doing much today. So it really is the breadth today, I think, in some of the, it's the chips. It's the chips in the Mag 7. That's really all that it is. I mean, look at this, guys. Look at the chips. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 names out of like 25 in my chips watch list that are red. And then you have the likes of Micron up for almost 5%. You have Broadcom 5.5%. ASML 2. SMCI's up 7 1/3. So yeah, it's the chips and the Mag 7 that are really keeping this market up and pushing it to highs, because I don't see rotation here in some of these other names. And I'm looking at all the other sectors. None are as green as the ones that I just listed. So I'm not really surprised. Are you surprised the chips and Mag 7 are keeping everything up? No, I'm not either. No. Yeah, so that's the look there. Let's keep looking at some of these names here, Adara. Do we have any areas of technical resistance to look at, Ram? I mean, we know that 220 is the all-time high on Apple. We got there a few days ago, I believe. There it is. So we're not that far from that. The double top there at exactly 220.20 and 220.12. So 220 possibly incoming here for Apple. Other than that, I mean, how do you chart this kind of stuff? A lot of them are just blue sky setups.
Yeah, I was just going to put this in the chat, but I can say it out loud too. Yeah, this Nvidia, their 132.30 resistance intact. This is resistance coming up to earlier today. Now, if we break above it, of course, that could be gross. That could not be a vibe. I can recognize that. But we haven't broken above it yet, so I have no reason to not, continue to short. I like this look. So let's keep going. 2 super chats here. Thank you very much to Daniel Edmonds. $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Apple has time to test the 220 and reject today or explode, just like roulette. Pull up that Apple chart. Also, Big Cal Burdett, $4.99 super chat. Looks like, based on what I'm seeing, Sharif is in the works doing this, but I'm going to read this out. Sharif, can you show 1320 Wolf the pick I sent you? We got nothing else to do but punch highs and pray. So Sharif's going to pull that out. I will pull up Apple for Daniel Edmonds. Yeah, we could get this 220. I mean, Apple really doesn't show any signs of stopping. This is a great look here. We had this 217. Slightly lower high, top and turn, top and turn, top and turn. I was considering going short, and Apple's like, please don't. Continues higher here, breaks above that 217.20 area, pushes even higher, continues to the upside. So, I mean, Apple not looking back. Nice pample? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens from here, but this is a nice look at Apple. As I said, the Bulls definitely doing their Steve Jobs. Let's put it that way. We could push up into 220. I don't see any resistance here, of course, on the intraday chart. But yeah, I think you're right. It might be a matter of time here. Daniel Edmonds, it could be roulette. We're going to have to wait and see what the markets decide to do here. But Nvidia decided to go back down. I have 2 B quarters set to get out the entirety of the position. One's at 132, other one's at 131.88. I don't know if I'm going to get either of them. We're going to have to do some book watching. But we also got another super chat. Thank you so much to DJ Marshall for the $10 super chat. 20th super chat in the live stream. Thank you very much, DJ Marshall. Brought 3 SPY 544 calls, June 17th contracts for 89 cents at 10:12 a.m. Still holding it. Pamp it. I mean, yeah, you certainly should be pamping it. You are a cool $3 plus in the money there, DJ Marshall. So yeah, I guess that DJ could have spin that, I don't know, Pamp It Up, I don't know, whatever song there. Great look here on the SPY, continuing to bounce here off that 9 EMA. I have no words except for congrats to you. Also, thank you, Nvidia, for giving me one of my B quarters. Let's see if number 2 comes through.
Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett, always doing the absolute most in a good way. He wants me to show this picture to 1320 Wolf. And be honest with you, I want to show this picture because of the kiddos. The kiddos are just so cute. Yeah, it's right there, Ram. So absolutely cute. I love her with her little doll there. And Big Kyle, you know how much I love Azure Blue. And so your shirt right there, thumbs up, double thumbs up on that shirt, Big Kyle. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. Are those cloves of garlic? You can tell those are potatoes that the little one has right there, Ram. But how about
garlic.
These ones?
He does say
Yeah,
garlic.
so these are garlic. You can see that in Big Kyle's hand is garlic. The kiddos got the potatoes right there. You can definitely see that. Shout out to Big. Oh, you can zoom in a little bit better. There we go. There we go. So yeah, this is it. 1320 Wolf, my man. You need to see this pic. Now you've seen it, baby. Shout out to Big Kyle. Absolutely, one of the OGs there in the chat and a family man. Love that. Big Kyle Burdett. All right, let's have a look at these here markets right now. Below 20,200 right now, to expect a little bit of resistance at that 100-point level. And what we're seeing on a lot of these Mag 7 names, I don't want to call them topping tail candles because they're really not, but they're showing a little bit of selling pressure at this level. I'm seeing it on Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. Did you have something to say?
No, I'm just doing things with my hands.
And Google, no worries. And Google as well, off the highs. The one that's really not off the highs, at least it looks like for the moment, is TSLA here, man. It is still at these highs, printing current high of day right now. TSLA 187.31. The high of day is 41, so it's 10 pennies off the high. With respect to Apple, because, well, it's up big on the day, the #1 winner in Mag 7 world is Tesla, followed by Apple. And so I'll be looking, look, I'm interested here in a 218 hold on Apple. 218 was a line in the sand. If we come down into 218, it'll be awfully close to the 10 period. It's the consolidation area top that we rejected off earlier at 1155. It's the whole dollar level. So I want to see what we get. If we get into that 218, I'm going to go long on AAPL, even though we have a bit of a double top off that $0.75. Great look for Apple. Look, I was talking to Brendo this morning at the big desk, and here's what I said to him. Because you guys know I'm holding Apple. You guys know it's my biggest position in my account. I'm not going to disclose the share size, but it's by far my largest position. Now, here's my thinking, and let me know what you guys think about this type of thinking. Maybe I'm off a little bit, and if I am, let me know. So if we are to make the assumption that there will be a super cycle, whatever that's defined as, Neil, because I know we don't have an exact definition, but if there's going to be a large upgrade cycle to the iPhone 15 Pro or the 16 as a result of the needing that M1 chip for the AI features, well then, are we expecting everyone to upgrade, in Q4 of 2024? Or are we expecting, for there to be 3 or 4 quarters of people upgrading and the revenue reflecting that every subsequent quarter? Because you can make the argument that analysts can price in a certain amount of upgrade cycle. So they can say, okay, well, the iPhone 6 was the last time there was a super cycle for the iPhones, and here's what they did percentage-wise. And they could forecast that going forward. And if that's the case, they can price in. So the market will discount future revenue. But what we know in reality is that there are surprises, both high and low. So you can surprise beat, surprise miss. If you're of the camp thinking that there will be a super cycle and there'll be a surprise beat like me, I need to hold this at least 3 or 4 quarters subsequent to the release of the AI features for me, in my opinion, to reap the full benefit of this swing trade. So despite the fact I've been holding it since August and it was supposed to be a swing trade, not a long-term hold, I'm likely going to have to hold it a little bit more so that I can realize the full benefit of the super cycle. What do you guys think? Is that what you're thinking with respect to this? Are you thinking we don't even get a super cycle to begin with? And if we do, is it anemic, not like the 6? So I just want to throw that out there because there's probably others thinking like me as well. How long do I hold this? What is the move here on Apple? Tell me what you guys are thinking.
Yeah. I'm curious. I have not updated my iPhone in many moons. Case in point. She's always making fun of me for this. My phone is so old that it doesn't know what Wi-Fi is anymore. And in case you're wondering what that means, I can no longer connect to Wi-Fi. Instead of the little blue circle where Wi-Fi connection option is, it has the dots, it's blacked out. I cannot connect to Wi-Fi, so I think maybe I can use the super cycle to my benefit. Right now, though, I'm going to hop into this Google short, and then I'm going to encourage everyone to vote. You should all vote for the ticker of your choice. You have 2 minutes left. If you haven't voted yet, scurry along, huddle along into this chat, ! Join, $, whatever ticker you like, Google, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, AMC, GME, go in there right now. You have to have a space in between join and the $, or otherwise, unfortunately, your ticker will not be accepted. And we want everyone's vote to count, so put your vote in there right now. Why did I get short Google near high of days? I'm going to explain. This was really, like I said, trying to trust myself a bit more, and nothing I saw in the book or the chart was telling me this is going to be continued long. Now, why did I like this short? Look at these wicks here. We're trying to break above this 177.80-ish area decisively. We can't really do that. I'm going to watch out here for what is this, level 71? So this is going to be really tight. I think it might even get me out right now. So we're going to have to, yeah, there we go, we're out. I really just, it's about trying to have this, no risk, no reward, right? You want to risk a little bit there, risk about 6 to 7 pennies. Didn't end up getting it. What I wanted was that break a little bit below here. I wanted into this 177.40. I didn't get that. My issue today, because I am right of the day, and I wasn't initially, my issue was just not trusting myself, taking trades that were kind of antithetical to my personal style. So tomorrow I need to not do that. I know what works for me, and it's going to be my scalps, trading these key ranges off of certain levels. If I just stuck with watching Nvidia, continue off these levels and I had taken those trades a little bit more effectively, that could have been all right. So I really need to do some reflecting when I get home, do some journaling, do some thinking, and figure things out. Tracksuit saying, don't feel bad, I have a Pixel 6. Yeah, I mean, oh, a 6-volt maybe. But yeah, no, I guess a lot of people behind in the times there, so I do feel a little bit better there. Yeah, I am very, very late to iPhones. I do have a 12, I just haven't switched it over yet. So good times there. But yeah, super cycle could be a nice move for everyone. I really need to look at that. Also, Michael Spadafora mentioning a ticker that I haven't looked at in a little while. It was one of my old favorites voting for here, so hopefully you get to look at Eli Lilly, Michael. But in case you don't, I will pull up Eli Lilly because I saw you mention that in the chat. And anyone who mentions Lilly in the chat is a friend of mine. Eli Lilly here, interesting look. Volume, Lilly, you get volume now? I can't believe I abandoned you when I went live. Okay. Eli Lilly casually at almost $900. Lilly needs to get a permanent spot in my side chart back, I think. Oh. But look at this. We had this pop here into 888s. Look what we're trying to bounce now. 888 there. 808 drum, make you put your hands up here for Eli Lilly. Showed it to like a G6. Pardon?
Is that all-time high? I can look, don't worry, because it might crash your chart.
Oh, that is true, it might. Oh no, we wicked up into here before, shockingly
really close,
enough.
though.
We're getting very close. This is a great look on Eli Lilly. This little leapfrog from one lily pad to another, leapfrogging to the upside. But yeah, I mean, Michael Spadafora, shout out to you for voting for this one. Don't know if Lilly will be one of the tickers selected, so I wanted to take a look at it here. Interesting look, continued volume. Apparently the CFO today mentioning that they still have more plans for weight loss drugs. Not a huge surprise, but certainly a bullish look here for the stock.
Well, absolutely. I think people dread injecting this drug. So the sooner they can make an oral version that has efficacy and that doesn't just lose all its metabolites into the liver, I think that's really going to be the big step here. Guys, GameStop just did things. It took 25. It broke the 10 period on the 5 RAM, and it touched. It was really close to touching the 20. The 20 exponential on the 5 is at 25 3/4. We just rejected the $0.50 right now. We're at the $0.50. I shouldn't say that. We haven't rejected it quite yet. We're definitely there, but we're well off lows. 23.79 LOD on GME. Now it's recovering here. VWAP on GameStop. Look, I'm not saying that should be your profit target, but you should be apprised of where it is at all times. 26.50. That's $1 above where we're currently trading right now. We're at 25.50, but there seems to be a bit of tug of war happening here between buyers and sellers at this $0.50, and that happened last time as well at 110. And essentially between 110 to 112, we got into 25.50 and rejected. Right now we're above 50 again, but only on the ask. Now we get on the bid. Okay, so now we're moving up here on GameStop, and the 20 period is incoming in like 10 pennies. So GameStop into 25.75. Great recovery, $2 off the bottom, the Katina man, and it looks like it may want to touch 26.50. VWAP. But to be quite honest with you, to go green on the day, and I wouldn't put anything past GameStop here, quite frankly, at all. To go green on the day, we got to get above 28 3/4, about $3 off that level right now, having been down most of the day, 11%. AMC as well, waking up, as it does typically with GameStop. Sympathy plays with AMC here coming into the 20 period as well. You are not going to see the same type of aggressive moves likely on AMC as you will on GameStop because it is moving in sympathy with GameStop. The catalyst here is GameStop specific, not AMC. Anyway, there we go. We just touched the 20 period on the 5 there. So 25.75 quick wick into the 20 period exponential. Same thing with AMC. So fantastic move for the apes today on the day. I hope all of you guys are printing. Just because I don't believe in the long-term viability of the stock doesn't mean I don't want you guys to print. I absolutely want you guys to print. It's just, it's just not my cup of tea. Fantastic look though off the bottom there. GameStop continuing to go, hanging out at $0.0025. We do have price action resistance as well. At 26, you had a bit of a double top there. The first one, 5 to 1. The second one, 1 after 1. So definitely around 1 o'clock, we kept rejecting off $26, close to it now as we print above the the 50 penny area. But as I see from the side chart, unreal. These markets are unreal. I get GameStop's moving and everybody's excited about it, but this gets me more excited. Everything here except Nvidia is at day's high. Well, Apple was almost at day's high. I mean, I'm for real though. 509 on Meta, 450 coming in on Softy, 178 got broken on Google. 184 got broken on Amazon. These are all high of day. 188.75 on the Cybertruck. Unreal day for the longs. This makes me happy. Better than any small cap gapper that could go up 400%, 1,000%. I love these all-time highs on the markets because this is the kind of thing that makes generational wealth.
And it's so fun to watch. Yeah. Like I know Neil said this too in the market recap about earnings. It's always more fun to watch something go up, right, than watch it tank. And so I think, especially when you have the whole market moving, it makes you pleased as punch. It does make you really happy.
Yeah, this market's taken something. I don't know where it was on the weekend, but it's all the way up.
All the way up, do, 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 do. Yeah, I think this market like worked out really hard, did those push-ups, went to the gym and is like, hey guys, I'm gonna show you, I have like biceps now. There you go. So crushing that. Shout out to the markets, I guess, in general. Yeah, I got involved long Nvidia. You may be like, Adara, you've been shorting Nvidia all day. I like levels, I'll take them either direction. If I see my previous 132 resistance, try to form a support, will I go, 132.30, sorry. Will I go long? Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, I'm flat on it right now, more or less. Still like that 132 level. We have not broken below 132.20 since I've entered. So I'm pleased as punch with this right now. I want my breakout levels I'd be interested in are going to be heading into that 132.60s or 70s. I've said this before, I do not stay in positions beyond the midday just because this is the only time during which I trade. I have other stuff I do after the show ends. So wherever the cookie happens to crumble, as the show comes to a close, a conclusion, a natural exunt, or I make my exunt, I guess, that's when I will have to make my exunt from this trade. But, Nvidia, if you want to give me more than flat, I'd be okay with that. Don't fall, just do your thing, 21. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You also want to shout out, too, I was talking about Eli Lilly. I think someone was saying in the chat, yeah, with Lilly just traded the sim. So I want to actually address this. Because I've traded Lilly in the sim, I have no problem. If it ever does moves, I would probably take a really small position, tight risk management in the trade. I think that's what the sim is for, is it kind of helps you build up those reps so you feel more comfortable taking things in the live. So yeah, I mean, Eli Lilly to me is not, I mean, this spread is $1, so that's not something I'd be down for. But yeah, I never have any qualms, especially if it's something I've practiced trying in the sim. If I see something I like, I will take it. So that's going to be, I just want to say that.
I think these markets making all-time highs are rubbing some people the wrong way.
Really?
Why are people getting upset that the market is making all-time highs?
Oh, yeah, they are.
Why? Look, I mean, I get you're a perma bear, unless maybe you're just kind of FOMO because you didn't punch into any, but it's just not the Mag 7 that's going, guys. The chips are very strong as well. Like we made the point very clear. The breadth is a bit of an issue here. I looked at some of the cybersecurity names. They weren't running, although they have a high beta, but the chips are all running. AVGO is up 5 3/4. SMCI is up 8.5. Micron is up 4 2/3. Intel is up over 1%. AMD's been a bit of a dud lately. We've kind of made that point. Obviously, we have to wait until they realize some profits there from AI. AMAT is up 2 1/3. Like ASML is up 2%. These are all expensive stocks. I get it, but it's not just the Mag 7. Chips are also strong, but I do take your point. Breadth is becoming an issue again, like it was in the later stages of 2023. We'll have to watch if that changes it there, but I'm going to send it to you as I see everybody on the green screen in 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif, for the lessons of the day. I was always putting that together. And shout out to Sharif, who you will see in the green screen in his blue polo in under 2 minutes. Crazy how quickly time flies. Someone's saying Nvidia coiling up like a snake. I don't want to say hopium, but I do hope so. We had a bit of a coil there off the 90 MA. That being said, I thought we'd get that 132.30 breakout, and Nvidia's like, what made you think that? Like, just because I stopped rejecting here does not mean by any means I'm going to bounce here. And I'm like, well, you could, Nvidia. So I'm going to stop talking to the stock, see what it does. Right now, I like the long. I have no reason to leave the long. We're still, for the most part, above. Oh, okay, there we go. And as I say that, Nvidia is like trying to get off a little bit, get off its high horse. We're going to take out part of this position here. 35's pleased as punch. Still will have about 60% of the position in if I get filled here. So nice look. Yeah, Yoel Reyna, I got a kick out of this comment. Oh no, the markets are going up. Why would we want to make money? No. Yeah, I guess certain people, as somebody who's more short biased, it can sometimes I find be a little bit harder to navigate these moves. But as Sharif said, and as Neil always says, it's always more fun to watch stuff go up, to root for things on the way to the upside. So yeah, shout out to everyone making money in these markets, no matter what direction you're going. There are always some great opportunities in every stock, in every market. So yeah, shout out to that. Nvidia, if you want to make up your mind so I know whether to leave you or not, just let me know. But what an interesting look here. So many exciting things to look at. Soon, though, we're going to have to be looking at the big kahunas and Sharif on the green screen. So we're going to have to bid you all adieu. I hope you guys have had as fun a day as we had. It's been a great day in these markets. And we will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel for some more level 2 action. Right now, though, you got Sharif on that big screen, guys.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you have your say every day. We got the big kahunas. They're locked. They're loaded. They're ready to look at the tickers that you voted for. But before we jump into that, let's see how the futures are doing.